Making a website has never been easier, and in this tutorial I will show you step by step how you can create your own website. Let me show you what we will cover in this tutorial. I will show you how to get your own .com domain name for free if you don't have one, and then we will install WordPress. WordPress is the most powerful website builder on the web. It powers more than 43% of all the websites in the world, and it's free. Then we will create this website from scratch using a free WordPress theme and a free page builder called Elementor. We will not just create a website, we'll also talk about branding, choosing the right colors for your website. I will show you which fonts you should use and how to create or outsource your logo. Elementor is a fantastic free page builder that enables you to create your pages using a simple drag and drop method. And I will show you step by step how you can do that. And if you want to change something, just click and then you can adjust the content and you can adjust the style. That is how easy it is. We will use global colors on our website. So if you want to change the colors, they will change on the whole website. So with a few clicks, you can change the look and feel of your website. With the header, you can create something like this, but also like this, or this. You can make your whole header sticky, or just a part of it. And you can make parts of your header transparent like this, or like this. And when you scroll, you can add a different logo. And it's all really simple to set it up like this. I will also show you how to create all these pages from scratch. So this is how my homepage looks, but with the skills I teach you in this tutorial, you can also make pages like this, or like this, or like this. And of course, the website we're going to create is optimized for all devices, for desktops, tablets, and smartphones. And if you want to, you can learn how to create blog posts on your website, so you can be found through organic search results, which can help you to get more clients. I will also show you how to create a portfolio page and showcase your work. We'll talk about creating the right title for your website, finding high quality images, add external plugins that give your website more functionalities, like extra Elementor elements, or a contact form so people can reach out to you. And we'll save parts of our designs in our website so we can use it again and again and save time. I will also show you how to copy and paste whole areas in your website with a few clicks. When you follow all the steps in this tutorial, you'll be able to create an amazing website. And not only that, you'll be able to create websites for others and start doing this for a living. Tons of people that have watched my tutorials tell me, Ferdy, thanks to you, I can do this now for a living and you can be the next. Now let me give you a few more practical announcements. In the description of this tutorial, I have timestamps. So if you want to go to a specific part in the tutorial, you can click on the timestamp and you go directly to that part of the tutorial. When I go too fast for you, you can go to the settings here at YouTube, go to playback speed and slow down the speed of the tutorial. And if you want to go back a few seconds in the video, just hit the left arrow on your keyboard and you will go back 5 seconds in the video. And now if you want to, you can go to the YouTube settings and change the audio track to a different language. If you can appreciate that I made this video for free, then please like the video. And now let me tell you about a few important steps we're about to take. So first, you get your free domain name and we will get web hosting. What is a domain name? A domain name is the address of your website. Web hosting is a special computer that's turned on 24/7 that contains all your files, all your emails, all your images, all the content on your website. So with your free domain name and web hosting, you are visible on the internet. Then we will install WordPress, and WordPress is completely free. It's the best tool to create a website without having to know anything about coding because WordPress is doing all the hard stuff for you. And then the third thing, you will create your website. And for the website we will make, people can charge thousands of dollars, but I will show you for free how you can do it yourself. If you already have a domain and web hosting, you can do two things. You can migrate your current website to this amazing web hosting platform. And I have a tutorial here that can show you step by step how you can do that. And if you already have installed WordPress, you can skip step 2 and go directly to step 3. And I will show you right now where you need to go in the tutorial in order to follow along from that point on. So ladies and gentlemen, let's get started. If you already have a domain name and web hosting, you can skip this part. If you don't have it, you can go to webhosting72.com, hit enter. And then you can click over here to go to Hostinger. Through the years, I've been searching for the best web hosting companies that are also affordable. And then I came across Hostinger. I've already been using their service for 7 years and I love it. And I'm not the only one. If you take a look at the reviews at Trustpilot, you see that other people are also really excited about Hostinger. And if you take a look at Google Trends, you see that Hostinger is taking over the web hosting industry. And why? Because their quality is top-notch and they're really affordable. So I can click over here on Claim Deal, and then you'll see 3 plans and I will make it really easy for you. The premium plan offers 25 GB of SSD storage. That's quite fast, but the business plan offers 50 GB of NVMe storage. NVMe storage is up to 5 times as fast as SSD storage. So I would go with the business plan. Why not the cloud startup plan? Because you can always upgrade later. So when you would have created 30 websites with the business plan, then it would be great to upgrade to the cloud startup plan. But when you're getting started, I highly recommend the business plan. So what does the business plan have? Well, as I said, you can have up to 50 websites. You get 50 gigabytes of NVMe storage. 50 gigabytes is more than enough. You get a free domain. With other web hosting companies that cost money, but here at Hostinger, you get it for free. You get unlimited free SSL, which will make your website secure. You get daily backups, free CDN, which will make your website fast all over the world. What I also really like about Hostinger is that you get free domain privacy. What does it mean? Normally when you register a domain name, all your information, your address, your phone number, your email address will be visible on the internet. And when that information is available on the internet, a lot of people can send you spam emails with, hey, I can make a website for you, I can make a logo for you. You don't want that. With domain privacy, that will be hidden. And with other web hosting companies that cost money, but here with Hostinger, it is free. And to make it even better, there is a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you somehow don't like the service, you can get your money back, no questions asked. So I scroll down and I click on choose plan, and then it says you pay $30.99 per month, but I can give you extra discount. So if you click over here, have a coupon code, you can fill in Ferdy, click on apply, and you get 10% extra discount and you pay $3.59. Hostinger will reward you if you go for a longer period. So the first period you get web hosting, you get extra discount. So if you would go for 4 years, 48 months, you pay $3.59 per month for the next 4 years. The only thing is you have to pay right now. If you want to go for 12 months, click over here, you pay a bit more per month. You pay $4.49 per month. And after your first period, 12 months, 24 months or 48 months, after your first period, you start to pay $13.99 per month. This is still worth every single penny. If I think about how important a website is for your business, $30.99 is still really affordable. And the first period you get extra discount. So or you go for 12 months and you pay $4.49 per month, or you go for 4 years and you just pay $3.59 per month for the next 4 years. So do you want to go for 4 years for $172, or do you want to go for 1 year and pay just $53.89? I will go with 12 months. So I scroll down and I click on continue. And then I need to register. I can do that with Google, with GitHub, or with my email address. So I will use my email address. I need to create a password. And then I click on register. We can choose a domain name later. Then we need to fill in our information over here. So I will fill in my first name, my last name. I'm from the Netherlands, and all this information can be filled in later. So I will leave it as it is. If you have a company, you can enter details over here. So I will say what my company is over here. And then I click on continue. Then there's the payment method. And depending on the country where you come from, there are a lot of different payment methods. So I can pay with credit card, PayPal, Google Pay, Apple Pay, Alipay. But if you're from another country, it can be that you also see your local payment provider over here. So I want to pay with credit card, so I'll fill in my details over here. So over here, I click on submit payment. It says your payment's done. Let's go. Set up your servers right away to start using them. Congratulations with your web hosting plan. I appreciate that you're following through and taking action. Now let's install WordPress and get our own free domain. Let me show you how. So I can click over here if English is not our main language and look at how many languages there are. There's so many more than the last time when I checked. So if you see your language over here, you can select it and then you can continue in your own language. I will continue in English. So for who is this website? This website is for myself or my business. I click on next. Do you want to create or migrate a website? I want to create a website from scratch. So I click on create a website. Next. How do you want to build your website? I want to use WordPress. So I click on next. And now I need to create the login details for my WordPress account. So my WordPress admin email is this one. I create a password. Then I click on next. I want to create a blank site. So I click over here. What domain do you want to use for this website? So now we can choose a domain name for our website. And since you get one for free, you can pick your free domain name right now. So I want to go with this domain. And then I can see if it's still available. I want to go for the .com version. So I click over here and then I click on next. Do I buy this for personal use or for my company? For my company. So I click on next step. Then I will fill in the information over here. And then I click on Finish Registration. So it's registering the domain. And now you need to think about the people you want to reach. Where are they living? If they live in Europe, you can select France or the United Kingdom. If they live in the United States, you can select one of those two. I go for the United States, so I click on Next. We go directly to our website. I want to go to Hostinger, so I click over here, Go to Hostinger. I close this, and then here at my domain name, I want to go to the dashboard. Now, here we are at our Hostinger dashboard. It says boosting time, almost 24 hours left. So what will happen now? Our website will go live. It can go live any moment. In some cases, in most cases, it's live immediately. So what I can do now, I can click over here, and then I will see if my website is live already. So I click here, then I will be redirected. And what I see, I'm already live. Look at this. This is my live website, my domain. So if it's not the case for you, just be patient for 5 minutes, 10 minutes. And if you click over here, your website should be live within 10 minutes. So what you see over here is the backend of WordPress. This is where we can adjust our website. If I click over here, I see the front end of my website. This is what people will see when they enter our website. And it looks okay, but of course we're gonna make it look so much better. And because we're logged in, we see this bar over here. Other people that are not logged in, they don't see this bar. With this bar, we can navigate from the front end to the back end by clicking here. So now I want to close the other two tabs. This is the back end of our website. This is the front end. On the back end of our website, we can adjust our website. We can create blog posts. We can add videos, images, PDFs. We can create the homepage, the contact page, the About Us page. We can moderate comments when people have a comment on our blog post or a product we have. We can change the look and feel of our website with themes. We can add extra functionalities to our website. We can add other users that can do things for us on our website. There are WordPress tools and there are settings. So congratulations, you're live now. I like to work in a tidy space, not only in real life, but also with WordPress. So what I will do, I will show you how you can clean up your WordPress website and at the same time configure a few important settings so we can work really efficiently. Now I want to configure our website in a way that we can work more efficiently. How can we do that? Well, the first thing, I want to dismiss this message. Then I want to go to the screen options and uncheck everything. So the overview of our dashboard will be clean. Of course, afterwards I want to install Google Analytics so I see an overview of the visitors of my website. And if I have a web shop, I want to see the amount of sales. But for now, I want to leave it empty. Then I want to go to the website, to the front end. There's one blog post that will come with every WordPress installation. And in this case, it is here. Hello world. If I click on it, it says my domain /index.php, all that stuff. I want that to look better. So I go to the backend, to settings, permalinks. And there I want to change the custom structure to post name. So I'll see my domain.com or .whatever / and then the name of the posts. So I click on save the changes. Now I go to my website. I click over here. Now as you see, it just says / hello world. That's so much better. Then I go over here. Howdy, Ferdy Corp. I click on edit profile. I want to scroll down. I want to fill in my first name, last name, and then change the display in name publicity to Ferdy Korpershoek. And now it says Howdy Ferdy Korpershoek. If you want to have an image like this, let me save it first, update my profile. I scroll down. You can change or create your profile picture on Gravatar. So you need to open this link. Then you can sign up, leave your email address, which should be the same as on your website, and upload an image. And that will be displayed over here and over here. Okay, over here at the admin color scheme, we can change the look and feel of the backend, the colors. So I can click over here. It will be light, modern, blue, ocean, etc. You can choose something you prefer, and I prefer the default one. Let's go to posts. I want to select all the posts, even though there's only one, and I click on bulk actions, move to the trash, apply, go to the trash, empty the trash. Then I go to pages, select all pages, bulk actions, move to the trash, apply, and at the trash, I want to empty the trash. Then I want to go to plugins, select all plugins, bulk actions, deactivate, apply, select again, bulk actions, delete. I want to start from scratch with no plugins. Of course, we can add plugins later, but right now I want to start with nothing. Now, if I go to my dashboard, it looks so much cleaner already. Then I want to go to the settings, general, and make sure that over here in my WordPress URL, it says HTTPS and not HTTP. If there's no S, you can add it over here. And also over here. And then scroll down and save the changes. If you need to change it, you need to log in again. Go back to settings, general, and I scroll down. You can change the site language. You can change the time zone. Well, if I say I'm from the Netherlands, so if I focus on people from the Netherlands, I can just say AMS, Amsterdam. I search the city that is in my time zone, and then automatically everything will be synced to the right time zone. Then there's the date format. I like to prefer the upper one. You can change it to another one or have a custom one. The time format, I like to use PM in capitals. My week starts on Monday. So I click on save the changes. Great. An important aspect of your website is your site title. So let me show you how you can come up with an amazing title for your website. When it comes to the site title, never say welcome to this website. Save it. And now if I go to the website, it says welcome to this website. Why not do that? Because when people search for anything, they will never search for welcome to this website. If I'm a web design agency in Amsterdam and people search for web design agency Amsterdam, and I skip the sponsored stuff, I don't see welcome to this website, welcome to this website. What I see is web design agencies Amsterdam, web design agency Amsterdam. And this actually is really cool. I am number 3 in the results, and this is a tutorial I've created last year. This tutorial you're watching right now is even better than that one. But as you see, the things I teach seems to be working because I'm number 3 in the organic search results. Branding, web design, agency, Amsterdam. So what we need to do, let's go back to the site title. I should say web design agency, Amsterdam. So fill in the text you want to be found on. I want to be found on the term web design agency, Amsterdam. Then there's the question, should you have web design in one word or in 2 words? Well, it also depends on the country. In the Netherlands, we often say web design in 1 word. So what I can do, I can go to Google Trends, click on it, and I search for web design, hit enter. The second one I want to compare it with is web design as 1 word. In the Netherlands in the past days, so let's say the past 12 months. What I see, the red one is performing better, which is web design in 1 word. So I did the right thing, web design agency. And then the location, because if I'm from Sydney, I'm going to search for a web design agency in Sydney. Important keyword, web design agency, place, and then the name of your company. I prefer to use a pipe, shift, backslash, and then web design. So again, if I would search for a plumber in Sydney, I skip the sponsored stuff, proximity, plumbing, 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 plumbers. So I should say plumbing Sydney. So if I go to these results, plumber Sydney, plumbers Sydney, plumbers Sydney. You see how important it is to have the keywords in your site title. And after that, you see the name of the company, or they have the amount of reviews. So when you create your site title, the keywords are important, the location is important, and the name of your company. And then over here, you can have a tagline. This will not be seen in the search results, but it can be handy. So I would say we create highly converting websites. I scroll down and I click on Save the Changes. And now when I go to the website, it will say Web Design Agency Amsterdam. We create highly converting websites. Have you already thought about the colors you want to use in your website? Maybe you have, maybe you haven't yet. Let me show you how you can come up with amazing colors for your website. When it comes to colors and branding for your website, we can search for branding colors, hit enter. You see a few examples. I can click on this one, for instance. What I see is a color emotion guide, optimism, friendly, excitement, and you see all the logos there are. The logos, the colors. This is not always true because you have Coca-Cola and you have Pepsi-Cola. They're both cola, but one is blue and the other one is red, but it can give you some ideas. I also like this picture. PayPal is bluish, dark blue, a little bit lighter blue and even more lighter. MasterCard, reddish, orange, and another orange. BP. So what you see over here with those three logos, they work with color palettes. It's all the same color, kind of. Warm colors, greenish colors, bluish colors, and then in a palette. So I want to do the same. How can I do that? Well, if you want to, you can go to images and figure out some more information, get some inspiration. What you also can do if you want to get some ideas for colors, you can go to coolors.com, hit enter. I accept the cookies, I close this and I click on start the generator. Let's go. So I click on the X. What I need to do, I press the space and then I see some colors. Actually, I see a color palette. So this can be the branding of my website if you don't have a branding yet. So I can hit spacebar until I think, hey, I like that color. Okay, I like this one. What I can do now, I can drag this to the left. I can click on it and think, okay, I want it to be a bit more bluish, like that. Now I can decide to lock this. And if I hit space again, I will see colors that has something to do with this color. So, okay, I like this one. I like to use a blue color and an orange one for my branding. Again, I want it to be a little bit different, so you can do that over here. I can close it. And now, based on those two colors, these three colors will be created for us. Again, until I think, yes, I like it. Well, you can do more. If I like this color, I can copy it. I can paste it here and decide to go with a lighter version, or even better, I can change the picker to hue, saturation, brightness. So I only want to change the brightness to something like this. Same with this one. Let's go to the picker, copy it, paste it. Then I go back to HSB. It's already really bright. So let's go to the saturation, make it lighter. Okay, same I do with this one. Go to the picker, copy the color. I paste it. I want to go for a lighter version. Something like that. If I'm happy with the result, I can click on export. I want to export it as a PDF. I call this one Web Design Colors. I export it. So now I can use those colors in my website. Later in the tutorial, I will show you how you can create your own logo, but right now I want to show you how you can follow along with the same logo and the same images I used in the tutorial. So let me show you how you can get all those resources for free. In order to use the same resources I use in this tutorial, you can go to ferdy.com/images, hit enter. And then over here, if you want to, you can fill in your first name and my email address. And I click on subscribe. Success. Now check your email to confirm your subscription. So I will go to my email account and there it says, thank you for signing up. Click on the link below to confirm your subscription and you'll be on your way. So here I can download the images. So there it goes. I can unzip this and prefer to bring it to the desktop. So over here, I can go to resources and then I want to go to web design, branding. And then over here, 2025, I can find some logos, some colors, so I can get started. WordPress works with WordPress themes. A theme decides the look and feel of your website, and every theme has their own functionalities. There are premium themes, there are free themes. So let me show you what themes can do to your website, and then I will show you the best free theme you can get and that we will use in this tutorial. I want to add my logo and configure the colors into my website, but before I want to do that, I want to use a certain WordPress theme. What is a WordPress theme? A WordPress theme decides the look and feel of your website. So right now it looks like this. This is the 2025 theme. And what I see is the title and I see black and white. If I would go to themes and I choose a different theme. So I click on 2023 and I click on activate. And I go to the website. Again, I have the title, but now I have this and it looks a little bit different. If I would go to themes again, and I click on add new theme. And I go for this one, generate press, for instance. I can install this. And I click on activate. Now it looks different again. So I have a personal favorite theme that has a lot of amazing features within the free version. And we're going to use a free version. In order to get that, we go to ferdy.com/Blocksy. It's the Blocksy theme. Right now there's Black Friday, but I want to make use of the free theme. So I click on free download and we can download it over here. There it goes. Then I go to the website, to the backend, to appearance, themes, add a new theme, upload a theme, and then I can drag it over here. Or I can do the same as I did before. I go to themes, new theme, and I search for Blocksy. There it is. And then I can click on install and activate. Then I need to install the companion plugin that comes with the Blocksy theme. So I click on install Blocksy companion by clicking here. Okay. Now if I go to the website, it doesn't look that appealing yet, but we're going to make it look so much better. One more thing. I want to keep things clean. So I go to themes and all these themes I do not use. I click on theme details, delete. Okay. Theme details, delete. Okay. Theme details, delete. Okay. And theme details, delete. Okay. So now it looks like this and we're ready to make it look so much better. We installed the Blocksy theme. Congratulations with that. It's an amazing theme. I love it. For years, I've been hoping that there will be a free theme that could do all the things that this theme can do. Now I want to show you how you can upload a logo and how to create a menu with pages. And then we're going to talk about what kind of pages you need for your website. So let's do that. In order to make this look better, we'll add our logo. If you want to learn how to create a logo, you can go to YouTube and search for Ferdy logo Canva. Hit enter. You see which video I was watching. And here it says, make a logo, the best way to create a logo for free. So you can watch the tutorial and then you can create a logo, or you can go to ferdy.com/Fiverr and let someone else create a logo for you. So if I search for logo design, you can hire someone to do it for you. Or you can follow along with the same logo I use in the tutorial. I just showed you how to download it. So we can go to the customizer, which is the customizer of the Blocksy theme. And I really like this. It's really simple. You just hover over here. Then you see those three dots. Click on it. Now we can select our logo. I click on it. Select files. So now I go to my computer. I go to the ferdy.com resources folder. Then to web design, branding, and then web design 2025. And then I want to upload my logo. It can be in SVG. And if I hit the spacebar, this is how it looks. Open. Then I prefer to copy the title, paste it in the alt text and in the description. And then I click on select. There you go. Then I want to get rid of this text below. So over here, the site title, I turn it off. There you go. Then I want to go back and I want to go back and I want to go to the general options, colors. Because right now by default, we see those colors and these are the colors you see back over here. Well, if I would change this, let's go to color palettes. You can change the color palette, create a greenish website, or turn everything around and create a dark website like this. It's all possible. I prefer to stick with a light website. So I go with palette 1. And I want to change those colors. So what I will do now, I will go to the resources folder. I double click. So I grab this color. I want to paste it here. It's the orange one. Then I go to the second one. I paste it. Same with the third one. Copy. And then the fourth one, etc. Copy. Then there's the lighter version of the orange one. Copy. And I paste it over here. And then there's the lighter version of the bluish one. I want to paste it there. And then over here, there is white. And this one I don't use. So I'm happy. I click on publish. Only thing is I want to change those two. So I copy this one. I paste it and I cut this one. Better. So this is the text color. So the great thing is these are global colors. So whenever I choose links to be this color, over here I said I chose the global color 1. That means if I change global color 1 to something else, to pink, the link should become pink. Like that. So in that way we can change the look and feel of our website with just changing one of those colors from the color palette. That can be handy later. If the client says, you know what, I want to have a different website, different colors. If you would have a client, then you don't have to go to every single setting and change the color. You just go to the global colors and within a few seconds you can change the look and feel of your website. So I go to the editor over here, design, row background. I want to choose a global color, which is this one. Then I go to the copyright area, design, font color, make it this color. I can make the links orange. And when people hover over it, I also want them to be orange. Okay, let me go to the general area. Copyright, current year is okay. Then I want to get rid of this. I want to say web define. Select it, make a link, HTTPS. We are webdefine.com. To add the S over here. Then I go to horizontal alignment and I bring it to the center. So it looks a little bit better now. Let's add a menu. In order to create a menu, we go to the customizer. I scroll down all the way here to the core. And then here at menus, I can create a new menu by clicking here. I can give this menu a name. It can be anything. It's just for reference, so nobody else will see it. So I can call this Uncle Jim. If I want to, I prefer to call this the main menu. The main menu should be assigned to a certain place in the website. I want to assign it over here. So I can say header menu 1. I click on next and all the pages I add will be added over here. So I click on add items. And now we can add a few pages. So what kind of pages do you want to have on your website? Well, of course, there should be a homepage. That's the page people see when they enter your website. But what else? What else do you want to tell about your company or about yourself? Well, I would say about. And if you want to get some inspiration, you can search for a similar website of a competitor. So I would say Web Design Agency, Sydney. If I click over here, it's a Dutch advertisement. Services, about us, blog, portfolio, contact. Okay, that's what I was thinking about too. So the homepage, the about page. Then I want to talk about my services. Services. Portfolio or our work. That's what I prefer to call it. I want to have a blog. I want to have a contact page. So you see them over here. If I click over here, home, about, services or work, blog, contact. But I want to have more. Over here you have services, a few services. I also want to talk about services, so I will have a sub item over here. So when you click or hover over services, you see the services we offer. In order to do that, I click on add items and I create a few new pages. Branding is one of my services. Web design. SEO. And advertising, the whole package. But now I see that they are added to the menu. I don't want that. So what I want to do, I want to place them as sub items below services. So branding can be dragged over here and then a little bit to the right, like that. Now it's a sub item. Below I want to have web design, SEO, and advertising. So now it looks like that. I don't mind the colors, we're going to fix that. But what I said before, I prefer to have web design without a space. So what I can do, right now we see web design with a space in between. If I go to the backend and I go to pages, I go to web design and I bring it back, web design, copy. Let me click over here, the link, change it to web design. Now, when I go to the website by clicking here and clicking here, I see web design without a space. Let's go back to the customizer. We're not there yet. We can style this. First, I think there's a lot of space, so I click on the main row. I want to change the row minimum height. How about 70? Perfect. I can publish it. Then I can click over here. And we can talk about fonts. We already talked about the colors we want to use on the website. Let's take a look at fonts you can use in your website. If you go to fonts.google.com, you can choose a lot of fonts. So you can type something. If I would say about services are work, blog, contact, you can see how that would look. So do you want to display it like this? Well, if that's the case, you can go for this font. Open Sans, really popular one. You can also filter things. So how about show 3 more? Slab? No. I prefer sans serif. So geometric, I can select them all or only geometric. This one looks great. Pop-ins. Okay. Yeah, I like this one. So what I can do now over here, I can go back, and then I can go to typography. The base font. Well, the base font I prefer is Open Sans. I saw that one before. So what I will do, the base font over here, I select Open Sans. Yes. And then the headings, I want them to be something else. So that will be pop-ins. So I copy this, click over here. I only have to do this once. So I click over here, pop-ins, select it. H3, I'll explain later what it is. It's the heading. So when there's a title on your website, what font should it be? I want it to be pop-ins. Like that. Everything else for now is fine. Publish. Now I want to go back. So what is the case now? I click over here. I go to design, default family font. Let's paste pop-ins. And now it changes. So that's the font. Then we have the boldness. I don't want it to be that bold. So I go for regular. Okay. I can increase this, make it a bit bigger if I want to. And then I think 500 fits a bit better. Home, about services, okay. When people hover over it, I want to change the color. So first, the font color, color 3. But when people hover over it, it should become orange. And then it looks like that. Okay. Well, if you go to apple.com and you go to a certain page, You don't see the homepage anymore. How do you go back to the homepage? By clicking on the Apple logo. That's also what I want to do. I want people to go to the homepage by clicking here. Well, that's already the case. So I don't want to show the homepage. I don't want to show things over here that are not necessary. So in order to get rid of the homepage, I go back, I scroll down, and I go to the menu. And here at the main menu, I click on the homepage, arrow down, remove. Awesome. Publish, close it. When people go to the About page, they want to go back to the homepage, they click over here. When they go to the homepage, they see ready to publish your first post. Well, by default, WordPress was a blog post generator, and now it's so much more. So by default, it shows the latest post. I don't want that. In order to fix that, in order to display the homepage over here, we go to the customizer, scroll down all the way. Here at the homepage settings, I want to show my homepage as a static page, and I want to select the homepage. And for the blog page, the post page, I want to select the blog. Publish, close it. So I click over here and I go to the homepage. I see home. I go to about. I see about. If I go to the blog page, then I will see this, because here we can display our latest blog posts. I go back to the homepage and then to the customizer, because over here I want to change the look and feel of this, the submenu. By the way, we can display it like this. I prefer that. You can also have a line below like that, or give it a background. Well, for the website I'm about to create, I prefer to keep it simple, type 1, like that. So if I scroll down, I see the drop down options. So this is what happens when people drop down. It looks like this. So I go to design, the background looks like that. I want it to be white, but the links, the font colors, I want it to be color 3, like that. But when I hover over it, I want to change the colors. So I go back to general, items, hover effect. I want it to be a solid color. So the whole background will be a different color. Now I go back to design. Now it says items background color. So initially it is white, but when you hover over it, it can become orange. Like that. But then I don't like the text. So what I will do, when people hover over the font color, it should become white. Like this. I like it. Over here I click. I go for pop-ins. I want it to be capital, so I click on the A. And maybe a little bit less bold than the main menu. Great. There's more we can do. So much more. Right now I see this area over here. I have the logo at the left, the menu at the right, and the search icon at the right. I can also drag this to the center. Now it looks like that. I also like that. So it's up to you. You can drag it to the left, to the center, to the right, wherever you want, all using a free theme. I think this is amazing. Let me bring it to the right. This looks great so far. Okay. What I see is that the website is quite wide. If I publish it and I close it, it's quite wide. If I make it smaller, then you start to see it's not totally at the left and totally at the right, but I prefer to have a bit smaller website. There's a perfect size for a website. So let me show you. It's 1120 pixels. Why? Because you can have multiple columns that have the same space with the exact number of 1120. So I click on customize. I go to general layout and I change it from 1190 to 1290 to 1120. Publish. Now you'll see it's a bit smaller. That's what I prefer. So we have our header. We have our footer. Let me show you how we can take it one step further. If I think about the goal of the website, I want people to get in touch with me to become a client. So I want to focus my attention in the website for people to go to the contact form, to get in touch with me. So I want to highlight this contact form or this contact page. How can I do that? I can go to the customizer. I can click over here, go to the logo, or I can just go back to the header. So over here, we have a few things we can add to our menu. So I want to add a button. I drag it to the right over here. There it is. Then I can click on it and I can say contact. The link URL, contact, with a / in front of it. So it goes to the contact page. Then I go to the design, to the border radius, and I say 25. I like the roundings. And then here I can make it capitals. Let me see, is it the same? It should be 500. Yes. Okay, but I don't need this anymore. So I go back, I scroll down to menus, main menu, and I get rid of the contact item over here. Publish. Okay, I go back to this one, then I go to design. Padding, if I would say 0, there's no padding in between. So I bring it back by clicking here. I reset it. Margin, if I would say 0, there will be less space around it. Well, I want to have less space. This is okay, but I want to have more space over here. So I uncheck this. Then at the right, I increase it. Or I get rid of the search icon. And then everywhere I say a design, padding should be 0. Publish, because we have a small website, I don't need a search icon. I close it. And now I'm really happy with how the header looks. We can add another header, header area. So let me show you how. I go to the customizer, main row. If I would go back, I can go for an HTML area. And now if I go to the top row and I click on it, I can go to design, background. Look at this. I can make it dark. I can go back, decrease the height. Then I can click on the HTML, go to design, font color, change it to white, decrease this to 12. And now if I go to general, I can say call us at this number. I can go back, and if I want to, I can have another menu over here with more items. I can have my search icon over here. Of course, I should click on it and make it white. And when people hover over it, orange. So that's how you can have a second area. You know what? I think I will leave that, and then I go to the top row, decrease it a bit more. Decrease it, yes, to 30. Close it, or publish it, close it. So now this is how it looks. We can talk about make it sticky, make it transparent. We're going to talk about it later. 2 more things. Over here, I see the WordPress logo. If I would go to apple.com, I see the Apple logo. So how can I display my logo over here? I go to the customizer. I scroll down all the way here at site identity. And then I can add a side icon. It needs to be a square, and the best extension is a PNG. So I click on upload files, select files. Now I want to go for the fave icon over here. I open it. It is square, 500 by 500 pixels. I select it. I skip the cropping. And then I click on publish. And now you see it over here. Awesome. Over here, I have the color pick eyedropper. It's a Chrome extension. If I click over here, I can see which color this is. It's 341490. And over here, I see there's a different color. I want those colors to be the same. So I click over here. I go to design. And I select this color. Close it. So we have our fave icon. Now this color is the same as this one. I really like this area. There is one more thing. You know, this at the C, it's the exact beginning of the width of my website, and here it ends. But what I see is that the logo is a little bit more to the right. So if I would have a horizontal thing over here, you see there's a space. So how can I fix that? I go to the customizer. Small things that, It's like itchy in my eye, like, ugh, I don't like it. So what I can do, I can go to the logo and I can go to design. I uncheck this. And then at the left, if I would say 10, you see it goes even further to the right, but I want it to go to the left. So arrow down on my keyboard until I think it's perfectly aligned. So the start of this area is the same as the start of the C, like that. Publish. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we are ready to get started with our page builder and create beautiful content for our website. There's so much more we can do with the Blocksy theme, but it will be better to illustrate that when we have a page with content. So what we're going to do right now, we're going to install a free page builder called Elementor. And then we're going to create content on our website. And then after that, we go back to the Blocksy theme and I will show you how to create a sticky header so that the header will stick with you when you scroll down, how to make a transparent header. But as I said, we need content for that in order to show you how that all works. So let's install Elementor, the best free page builder in the world. And not only that, it's also the most popular page builder in the world. And not only in the world, also from Mars, other planets, the whole universe, as far as I know. So I hope you're convinced now. Let's install Elementor. To get Elementor, we go to a new tab and search for ferdy.com/Elementor. Hit enter. You'll be redirected to the website of Elementor. They seem to hide the free version of Elementor. So if you cannot find it, just close this tab. You can go to the backend, to plugins, add new. And over here, we can search for Elementor. And there it is. More than 10 million installations, a lot of likes. This is, in my opinion, the best and easiest page builder in the world. I click on install now. The free page builder called Elementor in combination with the free theme called Blocksy is, in my opinion, fireworks. It's amazing, a really great combination. It is installed, so I click on activate. And now we see this over here. We don't need to use this. We don't need to create an account. We don't need to go over here through all these steps. So what I will do, I click on the X over here. Then we go to our dashboard. I see a new overview over here. I don't want to see that. So I click on screen options and I uncheck the Elementor overview. Now I go to the website and I can edit the page. And what we will see now is this beautiful button over here. Edit with Elementor. Are you ready? I click on this button. You should do the same. Click, look at this. This is the Elementor page builder, and always there's a notification of the newest thing. They keep on improving this amazing tool. So what I will do, I click on the X. When you open Elementor for the first time, it can be that you're overwhelmed, and that's perfectly fine. Sometimes it's perfectly fine. Get overwhelmed in life, you know. Last week, let's continue with the tutorial. I will show you how to configure it in a way that you can work really efficiently. And then step by step, I'm going to take you by the hand and show you how you can make beautiful websites, content pages with Elementor. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Elementor page builder. We're going to spend a lot of time in this area of our website, and I will talk you through all the important things. So here at the left, we have all the elements. So an element can be a heading, it can be an image, it can be a video, and it's really simple. If we want to add that to the website, we just drag it over here and there it goes. When I have this heading over here, I can change the content, I can change the style, and there are advanced options. If I want to add something else, I can click on the plus. And if I see an image, I can drag it here below or here on top. Let's do it over here. And there you go. And if I click here, I see that the content area looks different than here at an image. So every element has their own functionalities. And what I see here at the right is the structure. I can turn it off by clicking here. I can turn it on again. So I have the container, and in that container, I have the heading and the image. We're going to talk in depth about this. Right now, I want to leave it with this. What I want to do, step by step, I want to show you what is possible. So the first thing I want to do, I want to show you how you can make it a little bit easier to navigate through your website. Because right now, if I want to duplicate this, I need to do a right mouse click and click on duplicate. And if I hover over here, nothing happens. So maybe I only want to duplicate this area. Well, then I can do right mouse click, duplicate, there it goes. Maybe I want to delete this, then I need to do a right mouse click, delete, but I want it to be easier. So what I can do, I can go to the Elementor logo over here, click on it. I go to user preferences, and now I can turn on the quick edit options. If I turn it on, now if I want to duplicate this area, I just click over here. And there you go. If I want to get rid of it, I click over here. If I want to duplicate this, I hover over here. There's the option. If I want to remove it, I click over here. So that makes it a little bit easier, especially when you're going to spend a few hours creating your website. It will save you a lot of time in the long run, and it will make it nicer to work over here. So that's the first thing. The second thing, right now, this is dark and this is light. If you want to, you can change this to a dark look and feel. I prefer that one, especially when you're working a longer time in the page builder. I prefer to have a dark interface. So I click over here. I go back to the user preferences and I say the display mode should be dark mode. Yes, I prefer this. So I click on publish. And now I can click on the plus and then I will see all the widgets again. There's a message over here. We can add things to our favorite widgets. So if you use a sort of widget, a lot of times you can add it to your favorites. I just click on got it. And that gives us some more space over here. If you want to, you can click over here and then you see your complete website. So you see what you're building at once. You don't have to do things over here, few things over here, then save it and check the website. What you are building is immediately visible over here. We have configured a few things within Elementor. Now let me show you how you can work with the Elementor interface. If I click over here, I can go to the page settings of this specific page. This is the home page. I can click over here. I can say this page should have a certain layout. So if I scroll down, the page layout should not be default, but I prefer Elementor full width. If I do that, then everything from the Blocksy theme, everything from WordPress will be gone. And the whole area you see over here from this point on until this point is made with Elementor. And that's what I prefer. The only thing is we did this for the homepage, not for all the other pages. So we can also go over here to the site settings and then to layout. And now we can decide to do this for all pages we create using Elementor. So we don't have to do it every time manually. So over here, default page layout, change from theme to Elementor full width. I save the changes so that it will also save us time in the long run. Since we're here at the site settings, I want to talk about a few things. Remember that we changed the site width from the Blocksy theme to 1120. I want to do the same over here. If I will make this 1340, what you will see, if you make it smaller, is that the width of Elementor is wider than the theme. So I want to give them the same width. So I say 1120, the same as the theme. I love to work really efficiently. When I make a lot of websites, even though you're maybe only are going to create one, I want you to work as efficient as possible. So in order to do that with Elementor, we need to talk about padding and margin. In order to save a lot of time, we're going to set up at once. And I have a few special settings for that, so it will be optimized for all devices. So it will save us a lot of time in the long run. So let me show you how to configure the margin and the padding in Elementor. Over here, the content padding is really important. If I would say 0, you see there is no space at all. No space here and no space here. Also not at the left, also not at the right. Well, that's not what I want. If I would keep it like this and I would go to the tablet view, there's also no space over here. That is just ugly. It's really ugly when there's no space on the sides of your website. And also with the phone, everything is still 0 because I set for the desktop that it should be 0. So we need to configure this. And the great thing is we only need to configure it once and then it will save us so much time. So right now we're setting up a few things that will make our life a little bit easier. So what I will do for the desktop, I will uncheck this, and left and right, I want it to be 0, but top and bottom, I always want it to be 60. And you see, there's a nice space over here. Here, there's no space yet because we need to adjust everything individually. So the bottom 60 gives us some space over here. At the left and at the right, I want to have everything the same. If I would say left 60, then you see it's not in line with the width of our theme anymore. So I want to keep that to 0, but I also want to adjust it for the tablet. So I click over here on the tablet version because we want to optimize our website for all devices. And here there's nothing yet. This is turned on. So all the values are linked together. So if I fill in something over here, it will be there everywhere. So I would like to say 40. And what you see when we say 40, it aligns again beautifully with our theme. Then we go to the smartphone. And now it's a little bit too much. It's also 40 because it's getting the numbers from the tablet. And if I don't change anything, automatically it'll change. If I don't change it over here, it will automatically grab the information which I decided to give over here on the tablet. So right now it says 40. I want to change it to 30. And now you see it aligns again. If I think it doesn't align perfectly, I can decrease it. So how about 26? That's how old I am. No, that's kidding. That's 12 years ago. So now we set it up and then we go back to the desktop. And one more thing over here, there's a gap of 20 pixels by default. I think it's too narrow. So if I want to increase the gap, I can do that over here. The gaps, if I would say 40, there's more space over here. That is what I prefer. So since we have set up those settings at the side settings, we can save a lot of time in the long run. So I'm really happy. I'm really happy for you. I'm really happy for myself that I found out about this amazing page builder. So now if I would duplicate this, there is a lot of space in between and also over here. Awesome. So if I get rid of this, I get rid of this. So there's only an image in this container. If I would duplicate this container, you'll see 60 pixels over here and 60 pixels over here. If I would change the background, you don't have to do this. I go to the container, to style. I go to the background type, classic, color. And I say this one should be dark. You see nice 60 pixels over here and 60 pixels over here. Really, really nice. I don't like it when websites have everything close to each other. Let me give you a quick example. You don't have to follow along with this, but if I would go for a text editor, and I fill this with text, and I think, you know what? I go to advanced background. I give this a white background. I don't like it when the text is so close to the edge. It's so much better when you have some space. So that's why I prefer to work with those gaps. So we can get rid of this. I click on publish. By the way, if we publish things and we click on the eye next to it, we can see the result we have so far. So right now we see nothing. If I would enter a heading over here, I click on publish. I don't even have to refresh this. Automatically, this will be renewed. If I duplicate it, I publish it, I don't have to renew anything. And now there are two. So really nice to work in that way. We don't have to refresh the website all the time. When I go here, I already see the result of the things I've changed over here. So those were some basic settings for Elementor. Now I want to talk about the fonts and the colors in Elementor. And the great thing is that with Elementor and Blocksy, the colors that you use in the Blocksy theme can also be used in Elementor. So everything will be streamlined, everything will work perfectly together. So let me show you how to set it up. We want to use the fonts and the colors of the Blocksy theme and not from Elementor. So in order to configure it the right way, we click over here. And I can go to global colors and I see 4 colors. We also see a style guide with the colors and the fonts from Elementor. I want to turn it off. I don't want to use this. I see those colors over here and I don't want to use those colors. So what you can do if you really want to make sure you never use those colors, you can make them pink. Also over here. The third one and the fourth one. Save the changes. So when you see something really pink on your website, you know, hey, we're still using the colors of Elementor. The only thing I don't like about this, when I close this and I click over here, I want to change the color. I first see those pink colors. I don't want that, but I do want to make use of those colors. So what I can do, I have an extension over here. It's called the Color Pick Eyedropper, a Google Chrome extension. I grab this color, copy it. So when I go to the settings, I go to global colors and I paste this over here. It will have the same color as the background. And if I save this and I close this and I go to the website and I want to change the color, I don't see those colors. So they're not really visible. So I know I need to scroll down and then I can choose one of those colors, which I prefer. We talked about global colors. Now let's talk about global fonts. I go back. Then I want to go to typography, and there we also need to talk about colors. So the text color, which one do I want to use? Again, I want to go with one of the colors of my theme, and that is color 3. Okay, then the color of a link, I want to leave it as it is. For the headings, I want to give it a color, like the color 2. So I go to color 2, H4 color 2, and H6, all of them. I have to do this only once. Okay. Save the changes. Right now, these colors turn black. We'll talk about it later. I go back, then I want to go to the global fonts. And I don't want to use those fonts. I want to use the fonts from the theme. But just in case, over here, I want to make use of open sans everywhere. So I copy this, select it, the third one, and as you see, now the colors are going back to the right colors. It's a weird glitch. I don't know why, but after making a lot of websites, you figure things out somehow, and I don't understand it, but it's working. I want to do the same at typography, but then I want to make use of the font we used earlier, which is Poppins. Not poop, Poppins. So I copy this, click over here, paste, click, paste, click. Again, I only have to do this once. I think I forgot one. Let's check that. H3, H4, yes. And then H6. I save the changes. And now when I close this, look at this. Now you see the official colors. So right now, by default, there is this dark color. If I click over here and I make it the color orange, right now is this color, the official one. If I click on publish, now we use this color. So I'm really happy that everything is working. So sometimes you see that the theme is interfering with the page builder, with the settings, with the colors, but there are always ways to fix this. So I'm happy. I will close this. What I said before, if I want to see the results, I can click on preview changes and it updates automatically. One other thing, if I want to go to the backend, I can click over here, exit to WordPress, then I go to the homepage, and then I need to click over here, and then I go to the pages, and then I click over here, and then I finally go to the dashboard. Well, oftentimes when I'm in Elementor, so let me go back, I don't want to go over here when I exit Elementor. I want to go to the dashboard. So what I can do, I can click on Edit with Elementor. I go to the Elementor logo, User Preferences. If I scroll down, exit to, not to this post, not to all posts, but to the WP dashboard. I click on Publish. So it will help me to skip some steps. I click here, I click on Exit to WordPress, and at once I go to the dashboard. So we have set everything up really beautifully. If I click on Edit with Elementor, it's time to talk about how to create content using the Elementor page builder. Elementor works with containers and with elements. And I will show you right now how you can combine those two. If you learn how to work with those two, you can do a lot of things in Elementor. So let me show you how you can do that. I see this nice icon over here. What is new? Right now it's Black Friday. I close it. So if there's something new, you can see it over here. Here at the left, we have the layout. We can have a container or a grid, and then we can have a lot of elements, basic elements. There are pro elements. You need Elementor Pro for that. So we will collapse that. We don't need that. And then there are more elements. We can drag them over here in a container. What is a container? A container can contain elements. So when we create websites using Elementor, we have two things. We have containers, and in those containers, we have elements. So how can you create a container? There are three ways. I can click on the plus. I want to go for a Flexbox, and I can create a container like this. So this container has 4 containers in it, like that. Then I can click on the plus, and there are elements, and I can drag them in the containers. I can click on the plus. I can go for an image. I can click on the plus. I can go for a text area. I can click on the plus, and I can also search for things. So if I search for Google Maps, I search for maps. I can drag it over here. So that's it. You have containers, and in those containers, you have elements. You can have multiple elements in one container. So if I want to have an image below the heading or above, I can just release it and there it is. And when you learn to combine containers with elements and you know how to style them, you can create beautiful websites. So let me close this. The second way, this was the first way. The second way is to drag a container over here. Then you have one. And the third one is to drag an element in a new area, and then it will create a container around it. So if I would go to the structure, you see there's a container, and in that container there is a heading. This can be handy if I want to select things. So I click on the container. Now the container is selected. You see that purple or that pink area around it. If I click on the heading, then you see the pink area around the heading. So I can see what's selected, and based on what is selected, I can see information over here at content or layout when I select a container. And there's the second tab, styling, the third tab, advanced. Let's talk about that. So I can close it by hovering over here, closing it. Let me click on the plus. I want to go for a Flexbox container with all the elements below each other. If I want them to be next to each other, I can click over here. I go for below each other. So I click on the plus and I can add a heading by dragging it over here. Then I can click on the plus and maybe I want to add a button. So I can scroll down and I see a button over here. I can drag it on top or below. I can click on the plus and I can go for something else, an icon. And that icon can be placed above the heading, below the heading, and below the button. So I can drag it wherever I want. Sometimes it looks a little bit weird. Like this. But hey, isn't that what makes making websites fun? Well, whatever may be the reason for this to do so weird, I don't care. I just drag it in between. So what we can do, if I click on the heading, I see content. Here at the content, I can change the heading. This is a heading. I can change the HTML tag. I can link it somewhere. But if I would go to the icon by clicking here, I am still at the content, but this time I see different information. So based on the element, there's different information at the content tab. If I go to the button, there's different information. So here I could say subscribe. And if you want to subscribe, hey, feel free to do that. If you like this video, feel free to like the video and subscribe for more upcoming WordPress related tutorials. So that's the content tab. Every single element has one and they're all different. Then there's the style tab. So this is the styling tab of the button. And it looks different than when I go to the styling area of the heading. So I can bring it to the center over here. I can change the color. So I can make it orange, for instance. I can change the typography, make it bigger, make it smaller. I can make it uppercase. So at the styling tab, it has everything to do, of course, with the styling. But if I go to the styling tab of the icon, it looks different than the heading. And that will help you to style everything exactly as you want it to be. So I can change the icon size. I can even rotate it. If I don't like it, I just remove it and it's back to normal. I can change the color. So I can make it purplish. I can go to the button, to the styling, and then it looks different. So I can have a background color that is orange, or I can think, hey, I want to have a different background type. What about gradient? So I can start with orange, or let's say dark purple, and I can change to light purple. You see that gradient over there. I can change the location of the gradient. I can change the angle of the gradient. There's so much you can do. And when you hover over it, nothing happens. But if I click on the hover area, I can change the background type to gradient again. And I can change the color to orange. And it would look like that. I can also have different color over here. So there's another gradient. So that's how you can work. You can take it a little bit further. If you want to, you can click over here. There's a white background in the container, but you can go to advanced. Then I can go to background, change the color to, let's do color 4. Then I can go back to the style because the color is the same of the icon. So I change that to white, but now it's against the edge. I don't like that. So I can increase the padding here at advanced. 40. Okay. Now I can click over here. If I want to, I can go to the style, to the typography. I can decide that it should be all uppercase and a bigger font like that. Okay, that's too big. Then I can go to the style of the button and decide that it should be stretched. And then I can go to advanced, uncheck margin, and at the top I can decrease this so it will be closer to the other area. Now I can go, let me see, change this from a gradient to a classic color, the orange one. When people hover over it, it should become a little bit darker. It's not nice looking. So how about that? Okay. I can also do the same over here. If I want to, margin, bottom, decrease, and bring it closer to each other. So I can change the look and feel of the container. So I can give this a different background color. Then I have 3 different elements, a heading, an icon, and a button, and I can adjust them all to a way that will look like this. Well, let me close it. If I want to save it, I click on Command S or Control S, and it will be saved. If I want to know more about shortcuts, I can click over here, and there are a lot of shortcuts depending on what kind of computer you use, if you use a Mac or a PC. So I see Command because I'm on a Mac. So you can undo things, redo things, copy, paste. So this can help you to be faster. So over here I see the structure. So let me say Command Z. So everything's back. And now if I say Command I can see the container. If I open this, I see this container contains a heading, an icon, and a button. And I could call this, double click, a hero. And that way I can navigate through the structure. I can also drag the structure to the right. If you have a really big computer screen, I suggest you do that because this can help you to navigate through your page, especially when your website is becoming bigger. I made the screen a bit bigger so the tutorial will be viewable. I made everything a little bit bigger, so I prefer not to use the structure at the side. If I would do it like this, then I would definitely do it. If I would be at 100%. But I'm zoomed in a little bit for the sake of the tutorial so you can see it better. So I will drag it like this. And if I don't want to use it, I say Command I and it's gone. I can bring it back, Command I. I can also say Command P. Then I see the results, how it will look. Bring it back, Command I, Command P, Command I, Command P. And that way I can be I would call this a desktop DJ, a visual desktop DJ. You can also click over here and become a tablet DJ. It's up to you. It's your party. Life is your party. I wonder if I'm going to say anything better in this tutorial, that life is your party and you need to dance to the rhythm. Okay, let's stick with WordPress related stuff. I don't like the style, but I just wanted to show you what is possible when you start combining containers with elements and use the content, style, and advanced area. We're going to talk more about everything that's possible, but these were some basics. If I would publish it, I take a look, it looks like this. Then I can close this and then I can say Command S. And now it is gone because automatically it will be published and it will be saved and this will be refreshed. So in that way, using shortcuts, you can work faster. So this was the first part of the basics of Elementor. Before we talked about the settings of Elementor, now we talked about the basics of the elements and the containers. Now we're going to talk about positioning things within Elementor. When everything comes together, you can create super duper cool websites using Elementor. So now you know what containers and elements are. Right now I want to show you how you can work with positioning. So you have containers. In those containers you can have elements, you can style those, we talked about that, but how can you position them? That's the last thing, the third thing, containers, elements, positioning. When you know how those three works in combination with each other, then you will grasp the power of Elementor and you are ready to create content for your website. Every time I talk about this, I get emotional. So let's talk about positioning in Elementor. In order to talk about positioning within Elementor, let's create a new page to practice. So I say Command or Control E. Then I can click or type in Add. And I can create a new page by clicking Add New Page in Elementor. Then I click over here on the page settings and I rename this to practice. Then I click on publish. And if I preview the changes, you see my domain and then practice. Very nice. So let's talk about positioning. I want to start with clicking on the plus, create a Flexbox container from left to right. So I click over here, then I can click on the plus over here. I search for image and I drag it here. Great. It automatically stretches over the whole width. So now here at content, I can choose an image, upload files, select files, and now I need to go to the practice folder, Ferdy.com resources. Then I go to web design, practice, and I select image 1, hold shift and click on 04. I open them. There they go. And I select the first image. Awesome. And over here, I can duplicate it, or I click on it and I say Command or Control D for duplicate. Then I go to the second one. I select the second image. I go to the third one. I select the third image and I go to the fourth one and I select the fourth image. And in order to make things more clear, I go to the container. I go to the style and I give this another background than the other containers. So I click on classic and I go for color 4. Command S. So I publish it or I save it. So what can we do with positioning? If I select the container, let's say Command I, structure, let me call this the hero again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. I select the hero, so I select the container and I'm here at style. I go to layout. The first step, it's a flexbox. You can also change it to a grid. We can change the content width. Right now it's boxed. That means that it is within the boundary of the layout. We set site settings layout. We set it to be 1120 pixels. So when we say boxed, it stays within the 1120. I can increase it. And what happens is, if I make it smaller, that it becomes a wider area. But I want to align it to the width of the website. So I remove this. Bam. If I would say full width, then it will totally be from the left to the right. So if I have a really big screen, it will look like this. Well, I prefer not to do that. It will be totally from the left to the right. Doesn't matter how big your screen is. Well, I don't like it. So I say boxed and just the normal width. There's one reason for me to decrease the width. If I create a new container, everything below each other, I click on the plus and I drag the text editor over here. And now I have a large text like that. In this case, I would go to the container, to the boxed layout, and I decrease it to 600 because reading a text totally from the left to the right is not really nice. I prefer to make it a smaller text. So that's the only reason when I decrease it. But when I'm working on a full width area, I like to use boxed. Don't change the width. I can change the height and then you'll see what will happen. Right now, automatically the height will change, but I can also change it manually by increasing this area. Everything will stay the same, but for the sake of the tutorial, just to show you what is possible, I put it to 500 right now. Click on publish. So that's what we can do over here at container. It is a Flexbox container boxed with the same width as the website. So it starts exactly at the same point as the logo. And we manually increased the height, even though there's no information over here. So now we go to a really interesting area. We go to the items. First, there is the direction. There is more than one direction. That's what I want to say about that. You can go horizontally to the right. You can go from top to bottom. And if you do that, everything is below each other, all the elements within the container. You can even bring it back reversed. I never use this, but I think it is for websites from countries where the text is from right to left. Then you can use those two. I never use those. So I only work with row horizontal or vertical. Okay. And if you take a closer look, let me help you with that. If you click on horizontal, you see an animation over here. And if you click on the vertical, it also changes. So based on these settings, those settings will change. Let's go for row horizontal, and by default, the first option is selected. So you don't see it, but if I would click on it, nothing will change. So what we can do over here with justify content right now, it starts here at the left and it goes to the right. We said that the gaps should be 40 in pixels. That's what we decided over here at site settings, layout. And then we see the gaps are 40. If I will make them 20, you'll see there is less space in between all these elements. So I like 40. And then by default, that's also the case with all containers. So if you want to change that, you can do that manually per container. So over here, I could say, let's make it 20 or 0. So that's up to you. I leave it 40, but that's what makes those that space in between. Okay, let's go back over here. So horizontally from left to right, or from right to left, whatever you want. Let's go from left to right. I can justify it at the start. I can bring it to the center. And now you see it goes to the center. And if I would remove something over here, it stays in the center. So that can be really interesting. What is also interesting, if I duplicate it, it also stays in the center. And if I duplicate it again, everything becomes smaller. So we stick to the width of 1120. We also stick to the gap of 40. So what changes is when I duplicate things is that the elements become smaller in order for it to fit. Besides elements, you can also add containers. And now it becomes interesting. Sometimes it can be hard to place it in between. So let me try it again. Yes, there you go. And now in that container, in between the elements, I can add more elements. So now I can say I want to add an image. I can, for instance, choose image 1. Then I can duplicate it. And now it goes below each other. So this gives you so much freedom. We're going to talk about it later, but I just want to show you that you can add containers in between the elements. Let me bring it back. Okay, so now it doesn't fit and it becomes smaller. So I click over here again. I can say Command I to bring the structure back. Let's go back to this area. I can also justify it to the right like that. And then there's the fourth option. Those options are the one I use. There are two others, but I don't use those. There's space in between. That's really interesting. That means that the first element starts totally at the left, at the width of the website of the 1120 pixels. And the last element totally ends at the other side of the 1120 pixels. So if I would add one, this one's still at the beginning and this one is still at the end. If I add another one again, it looks like that. If I remove one, look at this. This one will be in the center. So the gap is now relative, and depending on the amount of elements, this will be placed somewhere, but always somewhere. But the first one will always start over here. The second one always over here. So if I would remove this one, it will stay the same. So let me duplicate it and bring back number 3. So I go back to the container. There's that. Then there's the fourth option. Look at this. Space around. So over here, space between. All those spaces are the same. Here, here, and here. If I click on space around, that means for every element, the amount of space right is the same space that there is at the left side. So here you see 2 spaces, one at the right and here one at the left. And that's why there is a little bit of space over here. Let me show you how it works. It works like this. For every element, there's space left and right from the element. And then there's the fourth option, spaced evenly. That means that this gap is the same in width as this one and as this one, as this one. Let me illustrate it again. So that's how it works. Well, as I said, I don't use those. If I turn them off, automatically the first one will be activated. So that is how you can work. And when you bring it to the vertical area, it also works like that. I can bring it to the center. Well, right now I don't see that because the minimum height is not that high. But if I would increase this, so let's scroll down, let's increase it so you will see more space over here. Okay, now it becomes interesting. Here nothing happens. But if I say center, now it is vertically centered. So this amount of space is the same as this over here. And everything over here, that is 40. Then we can bring it to the end. And also here we can have space in between. So it starts here. What is this area? Remember, that is what we set here at the layout. That is 60 pixels of padding. That's exactly what we also see over here, 60 pixels. If I would say 0, it is gone. Let me illustrate it even better. If I would say 0 at the top, there's no space between the border of this image and the header. So those are all those settings. But when we use this option, it overrides the amount of pixels, the 40 pixels. So again, hero, scroll down, and we set space between. And then we have this one and this one, which I don't use, but you can use them if you want to. So again, we can go horizontal, we can vertical. So then there's align items. So right now, when we use the horizontal version, we can bring it to the center. Let's do that. But what we also can do, we can bring it to the top. By default, it is stretched. If I hover over here, you see this long area over here. This pink area also here, here, and here. But if I click on start, then you don't see it anymore. Then it's really at the top. I can explain in a minute what that means. I can bring it to the center vertically. As you see, as much space here as over here. So if I would decrease this again, it looks better. And I can bring it to the end. And I can make it stretch. And by default, it is stretch. What does it mean? Let me show you real quick. You don't have to follow along with this. I go for the Flexbox, 3 areas. I go for a container. In that container, I want to have a heading. And I want to have a text. I want to give this a background. Let's go for this one, or maybe a bit. Yeah, okay, that's nice. Okay, now I want to duplicate it a few times. Okay, everywhere the text is the same, but if I would start copying this text, what happens with this background is this. It goes along. So it goes with the longest container in that row. That is because over here at the settings of this container at layout here below, can you still follow me? By default, the align items is set to stretch. If I would set this to start, what do you think that happens? Look at this. Bam! Now, this is on its own. So that's what I can do. I can bring it to the center. So the more I start typing, it will stay in the center. I can even bring it to the end. And if I would say stretch, everything will be on top and the background will be aligned to the longest background. So that's how I can display this. And by default, that's the case. That's why we see this area around it right now. Okay. Let's go back over here. We can do more because right now we're talking about aligning items. We can also do that vertically. So I can say, you know what? They are in the center, but I want to bring them to the left. I want to bring them to the center, or I want to bring them to the right, or I want to stretch it. And then if you stretch it, you see this white area around it. If you would say center, then you don't see it. You see no visible change, but as I just showed in this example, that's where the difference is. So I uncheck it so it looks like this. But there is one more thing we can do. Because maybe I want this to be in the center, but if I go to the second one, I can go to advanced of the single element. And I can say, you know what, align self. This one, I want it to be at the left. And then I go to the fourth one, advanced, align self, and I want it to be at the end. So we can, oh man, now we can do so much more. Because right now I can click over here. Here at advanced, I can uncheck the margin. And at the top, I can decrease this. Now I can start to bring this up. So I can make this pixel perfect. And of course, right now, you can be thinking, Ferdy, we're working with images with 1, 2, 3, and 4 on it. This is not what I have in mind when creating a website, but I just want to explain it as easy as possible so you can learn how it works. So I can also click over here, margin, uncheck, bottom, bring everything else closer. So this is relative. That means that if I change something over here, everything below will go with it. We can also do another one. If I click over here, advanced, close layout, I can go to transform, and I can go to offset, and then I can do something without affecting anything else. Well, we're going to talk more about that, but this gives you the freedom to create anything you have in mind. And that's what I like about Elementor, the freedom you have. And if you ask me, it's really intuitive. Of course, it can be overwhelming when you see this for the first time, but I do my best to show you how everything works as good as possible. One more thing, we go to the hero and I bring it back to this And now I can click over here. Advanced align self at the top. That's okay. The second one, I can bring it to the center. The third one, I can bring it here below. And the fourth one, I can bring it to the top again. So that's how you can play around with this. And right now, as I said, we're working with numbers just to give you the basics. But since we talked about this, we already talked about the elements, what you can do with it, with styling. And we talked about positioning. So let me close this. I think it's time to get started with creating our amazing website using Elementor. And as you see, we're at the practice page. If I want to go to the home page, I click over here. You see the recent pages. I click on home, save this. Now I'm back at the home page. So let's get started. What I see is that the background of Elementor is not exactly the same as the background of the Blocksy theme. I want everything to be completely white. So let me show you how you can do that. I see that this color is a little bit different than this color. So let me go to the customizer. Then I go to colors, scroll down all the way to color, and I go for color 8. And now it is white. There is so much you can do with the background of a section. You can have a video in the background. You can have a video with an overlay, a color. You can have a video with an overlay of another image. There's so much possible. You can optimize things, have different backgrounds for different devices. There's so much to cover in that if you want to know more about that, I'm going to show you right now how you can follow a separate tutorial for that, because it can also be that you want to create a really simple background. And I don't want this tutorial to be too long. So let me show you where you can find that tutorial. You go to Ferdy.com, hit enter. Then I click on search the icon and I say how to make a WordPress website. Hit enter. There are a few tutorials and search for the one how to make a WordPress website. I click on read more. I scroll down a bit. And then if I click on read more, there is a tutorial backgrounds in Elementor. You can watch that one and then I will dive deep into what you can do with backgrounds in Elementor. Ladies and gentlemen, are you having fun? If not, I have good news for you, because right now we're really gonna build something. Until this point, it was all setting up things, practicing, preparing. Now we're gonna make real content for our website. And I want you to learn how to work with everything in Elementor so that when you make this website, people are not like, okay, oh, you made your first website, but they were like, wow, did you make this? This is so cool. This looks so amazing. That's what I hope that people will say to you when you show them the website you've created through my tutorial. And if you can appreciate that I make this tutorial, then please like this video, unless you already liked it. Because if you like it and then click on it again, then you don't like it anymore. So make sure, if you want to, that you like this video. You can also subscribe if you want to learn more about making websites, selling things on the internet, work with affiliate marketing where you promote other people's products in exchange for money. And then let's start building content for our website. So I click on edit with Elementor. And now the question is, what do we want to display in the hero? Well, if I make websites, I do it like this. I go to popular websites. So I go to apple.com. And I start to think, okay, what have they done? They have a product, and then there are two options: learn more or buy. So some people, when they see it, they want to buy immediately, but some others are not convinced yet, so they want to learn more. So it's great when there are two options. Also, when I go to tesla.com, I can do a test drive, or I can order it again, 2 or even 3 options. And what I also can do, if I create a web design agency, I can say web design agency London. I can go to the sponsored stuff, then I know it converts well. Or I take a look at the name, then they don't have to pay for the advertisement. So I go to kijo.london. Okay, I see a text, another text, and a call to action. And I see a little bit over here, so I can think, hey, what's that? And I can scroll down. Okay. So that's how you can get inspired. Just take a look at other web design companies. This one, this one, this one. A title, a text, and a few, or one button with a few icons. text. This is cool. It will probably make their website slower, but hey, it's cool. The text, reviews. So that's what I want to do. I want to display something in the background, dark background in this case, and I want to have a few options. So what I want to do, I want to create a new area, Flexbox, with 2 options. So this one. So here at the left, I want to have a title and a few buttons. And here at the right, I want to display an image so people can see what I'm capable of, a few websites I've created. So the first thing over here by default, if I go to advanced, the padding is always at the top 60 and at the bottom 60. That's this area. But also when I have containers in a container, if I click over here, I open this. Every container has a padding of 60 at the top. I don't want that over here, the internal containers. So this container, okay, but the other ones, the containers in the container, no. So let me give you some structure, double click. I call this one the hero. The other one, I call this one the title plus the call to actions, CTAs. The right one is a gallery or portfolio. So I can say portfolio. Okay, if I click over here, this is all fine. If I click on this container, I uncheck this area by clicking here. And now you see, don't see those lines anymore. So when I do it here, it will become a bit smaller. Uncheck it because in the internal containers, I don't want to have a padding of 60 at the top. So perfect. Now I can click on the plus. I can drag a heading because I want to use a heading. I can click on the plus and I can add a button. Okay. And again, when I publish it and I click on the eye, I see the result. Well, I want to use a dark background. How can I do that? I can click over here on the container. I go to the style. I can have a background type of a color by clicking here. So I can choose color 2, for instance. But what I prefer is to use a gradient. So I go to the gradient color 2. Or the first color is color 2. But the second color, I want it to be color 4. So it goes from dark to light. I want to change the radius or the angle. So I can bring it to, let's say, 270. So it's light at the left and dark at the right. That's what I prefer. Then I go over here. I go to the style. Typography is pop-ins. And I want to change the color, the text color, to white. If I have a dark background, I want to have a light text. Then I go to content. And here I want to create a heading. How can I do that? Well, I can use AI for that. So I go to chat.openai. And I say, create a converting title about a digital marketing agency, unless you have something else that creates websites. The title is for the hero and should be between 5 and 10 words. Let's see. Crafting websites that drive digital success. I can also say, give me 5 other options. Your partner for high impact websites. So you can use this. I have another ID, so I can say stunning websites that drive results for your business. Okay. Then I can go to the style. I can go to typography and I can change the family font. Right now it's pop-ins. If I want to change something else, it will change, as you see. I go back to pop-ins. I can change the size. I can change the line height. Okay, I'm okay with that. Let's leave it with that. Then I go to the button and I want to change the text, of course. I say learn more. People that are not convinced yet. So the learn more link should be to the services page, what we offer. So I say sir, and I get the service page. Great. Then I go to style. And now I want to change a few things. The text color is white already. The background type can be a gradient or a classic one and one color. So the color, I want it to be orange, color 1, like that. I want to have a radius of 25, like this button. Okay, and when I hover over it, I want it to be blue, like this one. So I go to hover, color, and I go for the dark one, like that. That's how easy it is in Elementor to work. I like it. There are multiple ways to do things within WordPress. You can have the same results by 2 different ways. So what I try to do is use ways that keep my website light. So I can throw in 1,000 containers in order to get the result I want. But there are also smarter ways to work. Well, I'm going to do my best to show you the smartest way and the way that will keep your website light. And of course, I want you to learn how to do that. So I'm going to show you how you can do that. So I have one button. I want to have another button. So I can duplicate it, but I want those buttons to be next to each other. How can I do that? Well, there are a few ways we can do that. The first one is I can click on the plus. I can drag a new container over here. Then I can drag this one in. And I can drag this one in. But again, they're still below each other. I can click on the container and change direction to from left to right. I go to advanced, uncheck the padding. That's how you can do it. But if I go to the structure, it is a container. In that is another container. And then in that container is another container. It's fine, but if you want to keep the website as fast as possible, let me show you how you can use a better way. So I drag this one below the header, below the button. I get rid of the container. We can also use something else. Let me show you. I click on the container. If I go to the layout, by default, the wrap option is no wrap. So if I click on it, nothing happens. And also when I click on wrap, also nothing happens. But now let me change it for you. I change the direction from top to bottom to left to right. So now everything is next to each other. And now, if I click here, nothing happens. But if I say wrap, look at this. The icon says it a little bit. When there's no more place at the side of this, it goes to the next area. So when I duplicate it, it's still on the same line. But when I duplicate it again, it goes below. So nothing will shrink. But when there's no more space, it will go to the next line. And that's how you can use the horizontal function. So I don't have to create another container. So this item, by default, if I go to advanced, this element, the width is by default 100%. So if I change to 100%, nothing happens. If I change it to custom and I say make it 50%, now there's space for another button. So everything is next to each other until there's no more space, and then it goes to the next line. That's what the wrap is doing. So I go back to this one, I delete it and I say default. So by default, it's 100%. So this is a great way to get 3 areas below each other. But because of the container structure from left to right, it is displayed like this, exactly how I want it to be displayed. Then I go to the container again. By default, the gap is 40. I want to change that to 20. So here is less space in between and here is less space in between. Awesome. The first button is learn more. The second button, I want to change the text to get in touch. And then I click over here, remove it, and then I go for the contact page. Like that. Well, I don't like it when those 2 buttons are the same. If I take a look at apple.com, they're also different. If I take a look at tesla.com, they're also different. So that's what I want to do. So let's see. The first one, learn more. I want to make it transparent. So I can go to the background, which is orange, and drag this lower slider all the way to the left. And when I do that, look at that. The background is gone. I want to outline the background. So I give it a border type, solid of 2 pixels. But now it's a little bit bigger than the other one. So how can I fix that? Well, I can do that by manually giving a radius. So I go to this one, the padding or the padding. Sorry, I said radius, I mean padding. So if I would say 10, it is 10 everywhere. If I uncheck this, at the top I can say 10, right? I can say 20, And at the left, I also can say 20. So now when I'm over here, I can do the same thing at style, padding, uncheck this. I can say top 10, right 20, bottom 10, and left 20. But here I have extra space because of those pixels of the outline, the border. So I should say -2, or let's say 8, 18, 8, 18. And now they are aligned. If I would go over here, I would say 0, you see they are exactly the same height. Awesome. If I hover over this, it becomes dark. If I hover over here, it becomes dark. I'm happy with that. So there's some interaction over here. You can give it even more interaction. If I click over here, hover, I can have a hover animation. So I can make it shrink like that when I hover over it. I can change the transition duration, so make it really slow like that. But I'm okay. I think the change of color is more than enough, so I don't use that. But hey, it's a possibility. And again, the result is immediately visible. Okay, well, we have 2 containers. If I collapse this one, we have the hero, which is the big container. In that we have 2 containers, one at the left, one at the right. Right is portfolio. We have nothing in it yet, so we can do 2 things. We can click on the plus over here, or we can click on the plus over here. And then I can search for a carousel. So I can show a few images of websites I have created. I can select the images over here. So let's do that. Then I go to my folder, upload files, select files. I go to the desktop, to ferdy.com resources, web design. Then I want to go to the homepage, and there are 4 mockups. I have a tutorial, you can watch it on my YouTube channel, on how to create a mockup. There are 2 different ones, as you see. I want to use this one and this one. So I select them both, open. Okay. I get rid of all the dashes. Web design, web design Amsterdam, web design. Copy it, paste it and paste it. And also here, Games United, paste it and paste it. Create a new gallery, insert the gallery. So right now it looks like this. So let's configure this. This is the image carousel element. And here at content, I can adjust a few things. First thing I see, the resolution is really bad. So I make it a little bit bigger. How about medium large? Okay. How many slides do I want to show? Well, actually I want to show only 1 at a time. So I say 1. Do I want to have this bullet over here or this area? No. So navigation, nothing, none. Then I scroll down. I open the additional options. And do I want to have auto play? So every 5 seconds a new image appears? Yes. I'll say every 3 seconds, every 3000 milliseconds. Infinite loop. So after the latest image, the first one appears again. Right now it's a slide. I want to use a fade and a fade of 1 second. So like that. Look at this. Nothing happens when I hover over it. So if I go over here, then it changes. So pause on hover, I turn it off. And now every 3 seconds, it changes. I like it. So I publish it and I take a look. What I see, there's a space over here. Why is that? Because of this container, because of all these settings. So what I prefer to do, I go to the container on top of it, the big container, the hero container, and then add layout. I justify the content. So I align the items in the center like that. So that looks so much better. And now the problem is fixed. I publish it. Bam, like that. Selling websites that drive results for your business. Learn more or get in touch. If I click over here, I go to the contact page. If I click over here, I go to the service page, which we still have to fill with content, but we just are scratching the surface. I click over here to go back to the home page. stunning websites that drive results for your business. Learn more, get in touch, and then there's the gallery. So far, so good. I said before that there are multiple ways to do things. And right now I want to give you an example. I created the result I have when it comes to the visuals, but there's a smarter way to do things that will keep my website lighter. I want to say lighter. I'm mixing up words. But what I want to say is that I can use a different technique, different way that will keep my website lighter. Instead of keep on talking, I will just show you what I mean. Right now, this carousel is in a container, as you see over here. But what I also can do, I can drag this element out of this container and place it in between. Okay, that's not exactly how I wanted to go. At the other hand, it is how I wanted to go, because now I can show you a solution if you do something like this, or you can say Command or Control Z, and it goes back. So let me mess it up again. Let me place it over here. Okay, what I can do now, I can go to the structure and I see the image carousel is now in the title container. I can drag it in between the containers. So here's a container, here's a container. I can drag it over here. So now there are 3 parts. 1, 2, 3. I don't need the third one, so I hover over it, get rid of it. So now it looks like this. We have a hero with a title container with 3 elements. And then next to that, we have an image carousel. But right now, it's not evenly divided. So how can I do that? Over here at the container, I can go to the width and it says 50%. And when it comes to an element, you don't have that here. You have no layout but content. So I need to go to advanced, change the width from default to custom. And then in percentage, I also would say 50. So now we have the same result. As you see, exactly the same, but now we removed a container. And that's how I want you to learn how to work as efficient as possible and keep your website as light as possible. So what else can we do? When I say at the image carousel, I want this to be 60. So I want it to be a bit bigger. This automatically adjusts. So, or you want the image to be smaller and give more space to this area. Well, right now, when I make it smaller, look at this. It goes to the left. I want it to stay at the side. How can we do that? Well, remember here at the settings of this container at layout, it's going to be more clear over time. The more we work with this, the easier it becomes. So by default, we justify content to the left. So when I make this smaller, it goes to the left. But I can also justify the content by bringing it to the center. So now when I change the size, it goes to the center. But what I prefer in this case, I go to the hero, to layout, space between. So this will be completely at the left and this will be completely at the right. So if I make this 30% and this is only 50, here's the space, but this will be totally at the left and this at the right. So if I would say 50, that's too much. Let's say 50. If I make it smaller, that becomes smaller to the right. That's what I prefer. So I'm okay with 50-50. Or maybe not. So I say 45 and then over here, I say 55. Well, let's keep it with 50 and let's keep this with 50. Publish. I want to create a shape divider and show you how you can do the same. I'm at the point in the tutorial that I feel like I can do anything. I can unbutton. Okay. Why? If you're until this point, you're serious. I want to congratulate you with that. I will not unbutton my shirt. You don't want to see that. What? No. Okay, what I'm doing, I want to show you how to work with a shape divider, which in my opinion makes your website look so much cooler. If I go to the backend, I go to the hero, to style, then I scroll down, I can go to the shape divider. If I go to the bottom, I can choose a type. There are a lot of types. You don't see an example, but you can see the word. So if I would say clouds, here you see clouds. So these look like blue clouds. You can adjust the height. You can flip it the other way around. You can invert it, bring it to the front. You can change the color. So I don't use all those. I like curves. And then I can invert them. Then I can decrease the height, create something like this. That's what I like. Or I like waves. I can change the width, I can change the height. I like it to be a little bit subtle. I can invert it, I can flip it. Okay, I like it. I can do it at the top also. So waves, change it, change the height, but I'm okay. I don't want it. So for the top, I say nothing. Publish. I think that looks amazing. Stunning websites that drive results for your business. Learn more, get in touch. So this seems to be a great hero, and there is still more we can do. Do you know what CSS means? It means cascading style sheets. And that's what's been used in WordPress. But the great thing is when you create a website, you use PHP, HTML, JavaScript, CSS, but we don't have to know those codes, all those languages, because WordPress and Elementor and the Blocksy theme are doing all the hard stuff for us. They make it visual for us, so we can just drag a slider to the left. But when you do that and you save it, a new CSS file will be exported and saved. We don't see that. We don't have to work with the CSS code, but in some cases we can use custom CSS codes. So I will show you right now how you can do that. You can be overwhelmed, but no problem. I will just show you step by step how you can work with that. And in that way, again, we can work more efficiently, and that's what I love. So let's get on. Let's get on. Is that the right way to say that? Let me show you how you can do that. I want to highlight this word. I want to make it orange. But not just orange, I want to make it a color of our color palette. So if I would change that color in the website, it will not only be changed over here, but also here. So how can we do that? Let's go to the customizer. Then I go to colors, color 1. And over here, I can copy this. So let me copy it by clicking here. Now I close this. I go to the backend, or I go to the Elementor page builder. And if I click over here, I go to content, I can change the text over here. So stunning websites, I want to change this color. How can I do that? Well, let me show you. There's a code for that. You can type it along or go to the description of this YouTube video, and then I will place it over there. So there's an opening arrow, shift, comma, like this. And then we need to have a span. This is called HTML. We're going to use a little bit of CSS. Then there is style equals shift, comma. So this one, I don't know how it's called. And I say color VAR. And I say opening parentheses, and I paste the color we just copied. And then I close it, shift 0. So closing parentheses. And then after this, I say shift point. So it's an arrow to the right. So everything from the word websites on will have this color. So I need to close it after websites. How can I do that? Well, over here, I say opening arrow /. That means closing the span, arrow to the right. So now stunning websites that drive results for your website. I could say we create stunning websites that drive results for your website, but let's make it shorter. And I like to have every first word to be a capital. Like that. Now, when I publish this, I see the result over here. And if I go to the customizer and I decide to change the color of the website, the color orange, I copy this. If I'll bring this over here, look at this. Not only does this button change and this one, but also this one, because we linked it with a code to the variable color over here. So I can change this one, I can change other colors, and then in a few seconds we can change the look and feel of our website. Well, I will bring it back, but that's what I really like. So I can also use it later in the website. I'm really happy with that. So I decide to say we create stunning websites that drive results for your business. And again, if I want to, I can go to the container, increase this to 55, and then decrease this to 45. And then this will be smaller, this will be bigger. Publish. It's your website. It's up what you, it's your website, so you can do whatever you want. I think this is too much. So I go back 50. Publish. Awesome. Right now I want to talk about the hero. Am I the hero for showing you how to make a website? Are you the hero because you're making the website? Aren't we all heroes? The heroes of our own lives. And we create the story of the hero that we are by doing what we do in life. Wow. You know what? Let me show you how to optimize the hero for all devices. We go to Elementor and there are 3 buttons over here. Desktop, and here's the tablet. Okay, what I can do. Look at this. This is amazing. I go to this element, the heading. I go to the style. Here at typography, we can change a lot of things. And look at this. Everywhere where I see a tablet icon, I can change things. And then those settings will only be changed for the tablet. So for a desktop, if I go to typography, the text is 41. If I say 41, so I can change it here. But if I go to the tablet, typography, I have the tablet icon. If I change this, I can have a different size. I can also play around with the line height because there is also the same icon. So maybe a bit smaller. Like that. So on a desktop, it looks bigger, 41. On a tablet, it is smaller. It is 26. Let's go to the mobile. Okay, I can click over here and I see alignment. There's an icon, so I can change it for this device. I can also go over here to the container and say for the justify content for the mobile should be in the center. And also for this one, center like that. There's not much space over here, so I can click on the element. Advanced, I can change the custom width to percentage and then 100. And then I can go to margin, uncheck that, and at the top, I can create some extra space. And also at the bottom, if I want to. So now for both the desktop, it looks great. Tablet, it looks great. And here it looks great. Maybe for the tablet, there should be a little bit more space. So I can also click over here. Layout, I can change the minimum height to something like 350. So I'm happy. Also here, I can change it. Let's say 520. And also here, there doesn't need to be as much space anymore. Maybe nothing at all. I keep on learning, and there are more ways to do things. I just did it okay in the right way, and I can also do it the way I'm showing you right now. So now it's optimized for all devices. So later in the tutorial, when I want to copy this whole area and paste it somewhere else, I know it's already optimized for all devices. Are you having fun? I hope so. I do my best to make those tutorials really helpful for you. So thank you for watching until this point, because that helps me to be found more in the search results of YouTube. So what I want to do now, I want to create a second area and make use of ChatGPT. That can help us to write amazing content. And then I want to show a few key features of our business and just ask ChatGPT what they would say. So let me show you how to use ChatGPT and implement the content in our website using Elementor. I want to display information over here that makes me stand out from my competitors. And I want to use AI to give me some help. So I will say to AI, what are 3 key things my company should have when I want to stand out from my competition in the area of web design agencies. Give me 3 short titles, and for every title a 20 to 25 word text. Even if there are mistakes in the text, you know, AI gets me. Custom tailored design. So, okay, SEO and client experience. Okay, that's what I want to go for. Of course, if you have your own text, you can use your own text. So this is how I would do this. There's already an area over here. I can drag a widget in, or I can click on the plus, go for the Flexbox. I want to drag an image or a element in. So I click on the plus and I want to go for an icon box. So I collapse Pro, an icon box. I drag it over here. I want to duplicate it twice. So I hover over here, duplicate it. And again, I want to be next to each other instead of below each other. So I click on the container. I can go to the structure and call this one 3 services. And here at the container layout, I want to say the direction should be from left to right. One direction. That's what I want. One direction from left to right. And then here, Justin Bieber. Yeah, why not? Why would I say things like these? I don't know. I just want to be myself. This is my humor. I'm from the Netherlands. It's maybe a little bit weird, but it is what it is. So, ChatGPT, what we're saying, custom tailored designs. That's too long. So I say we have custom designs. We want to stand out with that. We don't use templates, custom designs. Okay, what else? I can grab this text. Okay. And I also have an icon. So again, the first step is about the content. So not about the layout, just the content. So I want to change the icon, let's say a check mark. So I can scroll down or I can search for check. I want to use this one, insert. Okay. Then there are a few things I can do over here to make it look better. I can go to the style. I can go to the icon and there's only one color. So I can change it to orange, but I want it to look different. So I can go back to the content. I can change the view from default to stacked. And now it looks like this. I can also make it framed. And I can also have a frame around it. Well, I prefer stacked like that. So that's that. And I want to change the box icon position to the left. Then I go to the icon. I want to make it a little bit smaller. Then I want to go to the content, to the title. Where is the title? I change the color to color 4. And I want to make it a bit smaller. So I do the upper arrow on my keyboard. Let's say 24. Okay, the text I want to be closer. So I go back to the box, the icon space. I can bring it closer. Can adjust over here, let's say 14, and the content space 0, like that. And I actually like it. Maybe I want the text to be a bit smaller. So I go to the content area, typography. This is the title. I go below to the typography. $13. Okay, but I want to do more. I go to the container, go to the style. I want to change it to a dark background for now. This one. Now I go to the element here. Also, element can have a background. So I can go to advanced, close layout, and I go to background, background type, classic, and I change it to white. Okay. Then I can go to the border tab below, and I can say 25. Then I can go to the layout, to padding, and then I say 25. That's what I like. Okay, great. Why is there this space over here? Because this is the height of this element. So if I make this even bigger, this will grow along with it. So that's why that is increasing. So I will get rid of this. I'll get rid of this. I will duplicate it. And I will duplicate it again. Now I can change the content. So SEO driven development. Okay, let me copy the text. And I change SEO driven development to, I go for organic results. Organic results. Because of the SEO, people will find my website without me advertising. Then I paste the text. Also 4 lines. I like it. Then I need to change the icon. Organic. Well, I think about a leaf. They have it. Awesome. Then I go to the third one, which is exceptional client-centered or client experience. So I want to focus on the client. So I change the title to client-centered. I change this to a heart. And then I want to grab the text. If you want to, you can also say, hey, make the text easier. So it's totally up to you. Okay, also 4 lines. I really like it. What I want to do now, I want to bring it a bit more to the top. So over here, I can go to layout. I can change the minimum height to 500. Now I can go to this container and then I change the background to nothing. Then I go to advanced. I uncheck the padding. Now I uncheck this also, and at margin I say minus, and I start to drag it up. Until I think that's nice. Of course, I need to play around with this now. I will definitely do that. Okay. I'm missing a shadow here, so I click over here. I go to advanced, border, and then over here, box shadow, turn it on, and then increase the blur. Do something like this. Now, I want the same shadow to be there. How can I do that? Really simple. Right mouse click, copy, right mouse click, paste, style, and paste the style. Now it's also over here. Awesome. If I click on publish, okay, I like it, except for the space over here. So how can I play around with that? Over here, let me see, I decrease the minimum height, and then I want to go to advanced, and then I uncheck the padding. And at the bottom, I want to increase it. And now it's pushing this up. I want to push this a little bit down. How about minus 90? A little bit less. Okay, then I go to this container. And this 90. So 90 versus minus 90. And that makes this go to the center. Again, or vertically. Okay. I like it, but I'm missing the shadow. Where is the shadow? Oh, it's gone. I accidentally removed it by saying Command Z too much. That happens when I'm making a website. I make mistakes and then I fix those again. So 30, copy, paste cells, paste cells. By the way, when I make websites, I like to put on some music I like, music that makes me happy, and just play around. I like it. I often work with, not based on my hourly rate, but I work in project. So I get a fixed fee unless there are things out of the scope, outside of the scope. So I can feel free to be relaxed, work on it whenever I want, as long as I bring results. So now it looks like this. I think this looks amazing. What I prefer is to have less space over here. So I go to this container and I decrease at layout the gaps from 40 to 20. Publish, refresh. I like it. When you want to have more, you can more items over here. 4 things. you can just create a new one, but then it starts to look like this. Maybe not what you have in mind, but what you can do then, go to the container layout and increase the width. Then you go outside of the borders. So let's say 1420, publish. And now if I make this smaller, it looks like that. So here are the lines of the website, but you can exceed those by giving a custom value. And I think that's really nice. So if you want to do that, you can do that. And now it looks like this. Well, I prefer to stick within the size of the website. There can be a case that they're not, they have a different width. Well, in that case, you can do this. Go to the width, custom, and say 30%. Then go over here, change it to custom, and then 30%. Then go to the third one, change it to custom, 30%. But then a total of 90% and a few pixels is not covering the whole width. So what I can do then, I can make everything grow by clicking on still one of the elements below 30%. There's the size, and I can make it grow. And I click here, I make it grow. Over here, I make it grow. And then they should all be exactly 33% or exactly 1/3 of the width. And then they also keep in mind that there is a gap over here of a certain amount of pixels. But now they're perfectly in the same width. And I think this is beautiful. Let's take a moment to check and appreciate what we have created so far. I think it is amazing. And if this is your first website, congratulations, because I think you're making an amazing, beautiful website. It can be really cool to use animations in your website. Let me show you how. In order to give your website animations, we go to the Elementor page builder and we can select anything. For instance, this one. I can go to advanced, close layout, then I go to motion effects, and then there is the entrance animation, and I can say fade in left, and then it comes from the left. I would like to say after 0.25 seconds, it will appear. After that, this one. So layout, motion effects, entrance animation from the right. And then let's say 500. So after a half second, then this one will appear. So let's go to motion effects from the left after 750. This one, let me see, from the right, also from the right after 1 second. And then over here, this one, we can make it fade up, fade in up. We can even make it slow after 1250. This one, motion effects, fade in up, slow after 1.5 seconds. And this one after 1.750 seconds. So 750. Now if I publish it, look at this. How cool is that? It is cool, but I have to say it makes your website a bit slower. And if I take a look at really cool websites, popular websites, Amazon.com, I see no animations. If I take a look at Apple.com, I see no animations. When I take a look at Tesla.com, I see no animations. So it's nice, but it's not necessary. So if I click over here, I can get rid of everything. I prefer to remove everything. So also the time, because I have the idea that when I would say close this, then that this number is still somewhere stored. So I prefer to make that, get rid of that. So my website stays as fast as possible. Get rid of this and then this. Because now if I bring it back to fade in, this is still there. So let's get rid of that and then get rid of that. And now my website is static again. How does it look on different devices? Well, let's find out. This is what I don't like. So I click over here and I say, bring it below each other. But then I need to go to the elements over here and change the custom width to 100, or even better, to pixels 600. Also here, pixels 600, pixels 600, and then I go to the container, and for the tablet I say bring it to the center, or here center. What I see, since I changed a few settings over here, I need to adjust a few things over here, because here I changed the padding. So now I need to say 45, 45 everywhere. And then I need to go to layout, make this a bit higher. What if I bring this back? Command Z, go to advanced, I uncheck this, and only at the bottom will I make it higher. Okay, 600 I said. How about 500? 500 and 500. So this for the tablet, and then for the smartphone, click over here. I say, let's make it 30 everywhere. So there's still a nice overlap. And then there's the order over here. And if I wanted to, somehow, I could change the order over here. So it's custom designs, organic results, and client-centered. I can also say the order should be 3. This should be the order 1. This one should be 2. Well, that is possible. I don't like it. I can also go to the history by clicking here. History, icon box edited, custom order, custom order. So I go to this one. There was the latest one before I changed the order. So click over here, and now everything's back, and I don't have to do manually by clicking Command Z a few times. Okay. Let's exit to WordPress. Edit with Elementor. And then I click on the eye. Yes, it should open a new tab. So, okay. And okay. Good. What is next? We're going to create another area in our website. This time I want to tell a little bit more about our company. I want to show a few images through a slideshow and talk more about my company, what it is, what it can do. And of course, you can be free to follow along with this, or you can decide to give it your own spin. It's all up to you, but I'm going to show you how I would do this in the next container. I go to Elementor, new area. So I click on the plus. I want to go for a Flexbox. You know what? I want to go for another carousel. Still don't know how to say it. I drag it over here. There it is. And after that, I want to use a container. So it will be below each other. Now I can say it should be next to each other. So I click here and I start to fill this with a few images. So I click on the plus. Then I go to upload files, select files. Then I go to my desktop, Ferdy.com resources. I go for web define, for business. And here you see a few images. I can't share these images because they are bought on iStock. So I will upload them right now. Open. If you also want to get the same images, you can go to Ferdy.com/iStock, hit enter, and then search for business photos. I scroll down until I see one of those images over here. And then I can go for same photos. So I can add a few. They have the same style. And you can buy them with credits. So you can sign up, and that's how that works. But I cannot share this with you because then I can get a fine And you also can get a fine if you don't have the license. So I don't want that for you. So I grab the first one, hold Shift, the latest one. I can change the order. So I could say, okay, first we're going to talk. Then we're going to make a plan with post-it notes. Then we're going to assemble the team to talk about it. Then somebody's going to work on it. And then showing it to the client. So there is a certain order in it. Insert the gallery. We have done this before. I want to change the resolution to 768. Show one slide at a time. Like that. I do want to make use of the bullets, but not of the arrows. So I say dots. Okay. I go to the additional options. Every 3 seconds. It can take 1 second to have the new slide. Okay. Then I go to the style. The position of the bullets or the dots, I want it to be inside. I want to change the color of all the bullets. They should be white, except for the active one that can be orange, like that. The image, I want to have a border radius of 25. And that makes me actually quite happy. I was happy already and now I'm even more happy. One more thing over here. Advanced. At the bottom, I want to have a padding of 60. Over here, this container, I go to the style. I want to have a gradient background with color 2 and color 4. And then I want to have an angle of 270. Like that. Great. Now at the right area, first I go to the container. I uncheck the padding. So there's no line anymore over here. Like that. And I want to go for a heading. Change the color to orange. And I want to go with a text area. So I add the text editor here below. I change the color of the text to color 8. And I go to ChatGPT. And then I say, create a 300 word text about, it can be about your company. So you can just describe your company. I say about the company web design based in Amsterdam. A web design agency with the focus of creating custom websites, optimize them for the search results and drive traffic through ads. Let's see if it still understands me if I don't fix this. Or why not fix it? Well, let's say enter. I like the title. I did not even ask for it, but hey, I got it. I think the text is too long. Welcome to Web Design. So over here at the content, I say, welcome to Web Design. And then the text, I say, make it between 80 and 100 words. I even like this more. So I copy this. I can make the text a bit less big, 24. Then I want to go for this text. Paste it. I want to have 2 paragraphs like that. Publish it. Web Design, your digital growth partner. And then meanwhile, you'll see the images sliding. Okay, let's see if I can make this faster. Content 3, maybe every 2 seconds. You know what? 2.5. Okay. And what I also want to do, I want to focus on a few words over here, highlight a few words. So I can do that by making them bold, by clicking here. We live in or are based in Amsterdam, Command B, or I click over here. Organic traffic is really important to us. So, okay. So now they are bold. Now what I can do, I can go over here. I can grab this, copy it, do the same thing. So I go to the text area, the text tab, and then after strong, bam. And then before the ending of strong, / span, like that. Also here, after strong, and before the end of strong, span. And then again, the third time. Okay. I go to visual, publish. Awesome. Based in Amsterdam, boosting visibility and organic traffic. Awesome. Well, you know the drill. Let's see how it looks. What I see over here is that this is now completely below. In order to fix it, I click over here. I go to the layout and I say, justify the content to the start and align the items at the start. So now it's back there. If you want to play around with these settings or with the width, you can do that over here. Advanced, custom, percentage. Make it bigger or make it smaller. And that way you can play around with that. Well, I'm okay with how it looks, 50-50. And then for the mobile, it looks like this. And what I prefer to do, click over here, advanced, and then the order, bring it to the end. So instead of on top of it, it's below. So this is how it looks on a normal device or a computer. And this is how it looks on a tablet and on a mobile phone. So I hope you get the hang of it. Learn how to work with Elementor. I think it's an amazing tool. We're making use of free tools. The only thing we paid for so far is web hosting and maybe the stock images if you use those. And I think what we have so far is amazing. When I create a website for myself or for my company, I want to show my visitors a little bit of credibility, like for whom have I worked? So I want to show you how you can create an area like that. Remember that we used a container with direction from left to right when we created a few things below each other. That's what we're going to do again. So I click on the plus and I want to add a flexbox from left to right. I want to start with a heading. I can also copy a heading. So right mouse click, copy, or I can duplicate it. Then I can drag it over here. And then I can say companies we work with. Okay. Then I go to advanced. I go to width, full width. I go to the container and I say wrap. So since this is 100%, everything I created next to it will go to the next line. So I go for an image. I can just drag it anywhere. Let me see, sometimes it gets a little bit tough, especially with this construction. Okay, so I click on it, choose an image. What you can do, you can go to the companies you work for. And then, for instance, if I would work with Tesla, I have a tool, an extension called SVG Grabber. I click on it and I can download this as an SVG and adjust the size or use the SVG. So I downloaded a few images. I go to upload files, select files. I called it companies. I don't know if I can share those. So you need to find the logos you want to use. They're not all exactly the same size, but that's okay. I click on select, duplicate, duplicate, and duplicate. And then the next one will be the second logo, NVIDIA. The third one, Google. And the fourth one will be Amazon. So now I want to tell this how big it should be. Remember, we have 40 pixels gap everywhere. So over here, I need to say advanced, change the width to a custom. And if I would say 25%, copy, paste style, paste style, and paste style. This one will not fit because it's a total of 100%, but then we still have those gaps. Well, it's really hard to measure or to add up something that's in percentage and then something that's in pixels. So what I will do, I will make this 20%. We've done this before. Paste style, paste style, paste style. So now it's 80% plus a few gaps, but then there's still space left. So what I can do, I can, if I want, I can click over here and make it grow. Also here, make it grow, advanced, grow, advanced, grow. So it stretches, it grows as much as it can. Now, let me adjust this a little bit. And the direction is okay. I want to justify the content to the center, but also align the items like this. Look at this. It's better. Okay. This can be a bit bigger. So what I will do, I just click over here. Okay. Is okay. I can bring it to the center over here. Companies we work with, Tesla, Nvidia, Google, and Amazon. Well, what the thing is with Amazon, there's this arrow which will make the text go a little bit up because it's putting this in the center vertically. So what I can do, I can click over here. I can go to transform. This is so cool. Offset. And then X or Y. At the Y, I want to bring it a little bit lower. That's how easy it is. Okay. And if I think, okay, Google is too big or the Amazon logo is too big, I just go to advantage or advanced and then change the 20% to something else. And then everything else will become bigger. And in that way you can decide what should get more attention or less, especially when you use a totally different logo. So in that way you can play around with it. What I prefer, I prefer to change the width to 600, maybe 800. Okay, and what I also could do if I want to, I can change this. So if I would say 80, there will be more space left. But I'm okay with 40. So I just get rid of this. So by default, it is 40. One other thing I want to change, the columns are okay with 40, but the rows, I want them to be 20. So they are closer to each other. And here it is 60 and here it is 60. And that's what I like. I like to keep some space. If I would do it like this, 0, it's all too close to each other. And also over here, if I would say 20, there's not much space. I have made dozens of tutorials. I keep on saying it, and then sometimes I go to a website from someone and those edges are still too close to each other, and I don't understand it. Giving your website some space over here, over here, over here, from the sides makes it such a better experience for the viewer. People are still putting everything close to each other. So over here, layout, I uncheck this. This can be 40, and this can be 20. How about 60? Yes. Publish. Now, how does it look on different devices? I can show it like this on a tablet, and then I go to a mobile. I think automatically it will look great. Well, it's not the case. So I could say percentage, or I could say 45. I think it's going to be 40. So how about 40? And 40. Okay. So it needs to be a total that is less than 100. So here it's a total of 90, 80, 40 plus 40. And it's because the big gap in between of 60 pixels. So you need to play around with it. It cannot be 50 and 50 because then it will go to the next line. So if I make this bigger, you see that's what's happening. So you need to play a bit around with that. So now it's optimized for all devices. As you see, dark area, light area, dark area, light area. I like to work with that. I don't know if that's the case over here. If you would go to Apple, dark, dark, light, 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 dark, dark, light. Not exactly 100%, but you know, Apple doesn't do everything right, you know. No, just kidding. That's what I prefer. You don't have to do that, but I like to do that. We have learned quite a few things already about Elementor. Right now, I want to combine a few things. I want to copy a few things, paste a few things, change the style, do a little bit of advanced styling. I want to work with containers in containers and show you how we can use that and do a little bit more with the design. So let's get right on with it. English is not my main language, it's Dutch. So sometimes my English is weird, but I hope it does not distract you too much. I go to Elementor, new area. So I go for a container with everything below each other, Flexbox, below each other. I want to give this a background. So I go to the style, a dark background, gradient, the first color, color 2, and the second color, color 4. And again, the angle 270. Unless you feel like 272 feels better. But not everything in life is about how you feel. Have you ever thought about that? Well, you can do so after watching this tutorial. And now I can click on the plus and I want to go for a heading, or I can copy it or duplicate it, drag it over here. Or if you prefer, I get rid of it, copy, right mouse click, paste. It's also easy with Elementor. Love it. So I can show a title like this. I also want to show you what else is possible, and it's really easy to do so. So I go to advanced, then I can go to backgrounds, and I can give this a orange background. It's over the whole width. Okay, interesting. Then I go to the style of the text, and I want to change the text color to white. Why is this over the whole width? Remember, over here we worked with a width of 100%. That's the reason why. So I click over here, I go to advanced, and I get rid of the full width, bring it back to default. Okay, better. I think there's not much space around it, so I can go to the style, typography, and I can make the text smaller. Or I can go to advanced, padding, and increase that. Like that. Now I go for a new area, container. I'm gonna work with containers. Click on the container, go to advanced, uncheck the padding. And in that container, I want to have 4 other containers. Let's click over here. I want the containers over here to be from the left to the right. So in the containing container, I say that everything should go from the left to the right. So now if I drag a container in it and I uncheck the padding and I duplicate it, there are 2, 3, 4 next to each other. That's what I want. So I will add a few elements in it, and then I will show you how you can make something nice out of that. So first I want to start with an icon. So I drag an icon over here. By the way, over here in this container, everything should be below each other. So let's see what's happening. Then I want to go for a heading. And it is below each other. I want to have another heading. And then I want to have a icon list. So right now it looks like this. We're gonna make it look so much better. The first thing I want to do, I want to go to the container, to the style of the container. I want to give it a dark background. So I go to classic color and I pick one of the colors. Let's go for this one. Awesome. It's the same as the title color, so you don't see the text anymore. Then I want to go to the border, give the radius of 25. You see that over here. Then I want to go to the advanced area, layout, and at the padding I want to say 25. So there's a little bit more space around it. Okay, I click on the first icon, and what I want to say over here, I want to talk about branding. I have 4 services, branding, web design, SEO, and advertising. That's the one I want to elaborate over here. Talk about that a little bit more. So over here, I go for a fingerprint because branding has everything to do with your unique style, which is the same as a fingerprint. It's not the same, but your fingerprint is also unique. And I want to give this a color white. Then I want to go to the text. I want to give this the title or the text 01. Then I go to style, change the color to orange. Then I go to the second heading. I give this the title branding. I go to the style, change it to white. Then I go over here. I go to the style of the text and I make it also white. I go back to the content, close this, list item, close it. And then I say item 1. I duplicate it and I duplicate it. Over here, I say item 2. Over here, I say item 3. I go back to the container, to layout. Everything should be below each other. Everything should be in the center and also horizontally in the center. Then I want to go to advanced. Also at the bottom, I want to have 25 pixels, a little bit more space. At the same time, at layout, I don't want to have 40 pixels in between everything. So I'll bring it back to 20. Okay. This is okay. I can make it a bit bigger. How about 60? Then I go to the title. I want it to be really small. So I go to typography and make that 16. Then I go to branding. That's fine with me. I go to advanced, uncheck the margin and decreases. So I go to the minus like that. And if I click on publish, it looks like that. Branding with 3 items. I think I can even decrease the layout gap. To 10. And then over here, I increase it again, minus 20. Okay, I like it. What I can do, I can go to the container, to the style, give it a border of, solid border of 2. Not 15, but 2. What's going on over here? 2. Change the color to or white or orange. That's up to you. If you want to do something with that, makes it pop. But at the other hand, I don't see that a lot in my style. So I don't see why I should use borders. But I just want to show you that you can do it if you want to. So you can also make it dotted, do a lot of things. I say none, but maybe I want to have a shadow. And then again, I want to have I want it to be 30. Let's see how that looks. There's no more sharp edge now. No, thank you. Hey, but hey, I showed you that's possible. I want to duplicate it 3 times. And then I will fast forward and change all the information over here. So there you go. Let's increase the space a bit more. Copy, paste the style. Paste the style and paste the style. I want this to be aligned in the center. So I go to the style, bring it to the center like that. Copy, paste the style, and paste the style. Publish. It looks great. But how does it look on a different device? Well, let's find out. Tablet. No, thank you. Smartphone. Great. So what I could do in this container, I could say I want to make use of the width of 20. Make sure it's percentage. Then this one also 20. Then this one 20. And this one 20. Now I want to make it grow. So I click over here, go to advanced, grow. The second one, the third one, and the fourth one. So now when I go to the tablet, okay, no, thank you. So what I will do, I'll go to the container, but the upper containers. I go to structure, the container that contains the 4 containers. I want to rename this 4 steps. And over here, I want to turn on wrapping. So when it doesn't fit, it goes to the next area. So I go to the, let me see, the first container, I change the layout to percentage 45. Over here, percentage 45. The third one, percentage 45. The fourth one, layout percentage 45. Now over here, it's already great. So now people can see what I do. And I showed you how you can create something like this. And before, it was quite hard to do this with CSS. And now with Elementor, it's quite easy. So this is the website we have. It's optimized for all devices. We're getting there. And it's not only that you're going to make this website, but you're going to learn how to make websites. So you can learn how to make other websites. And I think that's something amazing. I do it already since 1999. I still love it. And it becomes easier and easier. I want to create a new container showing some statistics about how many people work here, how many projects I've already done. And also here you can decide to put in your own statistics. I will do the statistics I'm about to show you. Let's go for a container. Everything from left to right. I go for a counter. And I can have a cool number. So 430. From 0 to 430. And then I can say a suffix after that. I want to have a plus more than 430. But what the title is websites made. And what I like to do, I like to link this number with the duration. So I would like to say 4.3 seconds. So 100 websites per second in showing this. Okay, let's go to the style. Bring it to the center. And to the number, I want it to be orange. And the color of the title, I want it to be light and a little bit bolder. How about 600? Yes, well, I want this to be closer to each other. So I go to the counter, title gap, number gap. Well, it seems to be the closest as possible. I cannot go into the minus. Maybe here at typography, I can play around with the line height. Well, that's sometimes how I have my workarounds. And then I can go to advanced, to transform, offset, Y. And that way bring it back. That's how I roll. Sometimes there is no right or wrong way. You know, some things will create some extra code in the website. If that's the case, it's not gonna kill your business or something. It's not gonna make a big difference. So there are multiple ways to do things. I prefer this one in this case. So I will duplicate it. Okay. I want to do the same as I did before over here. I don't want to use wrapping, or I do want to use wrapping. And then here I want to make this width advanced 20%. Copy, paste the style, paste the style, paste the style. And then one more thing to make the magic happen. Click on the grow. Grow, grow, and grow. So it aligns nicely with this. Okay, I want to show other information. So here at content, I say I work for 26 years into the web design industry. So 2600 or like that. So it goes really fast. Not websites made, but years of experience. Then the third one, content is 600 employees, or just make it really quick like that. And then the latest one, we won already 26 awards. So let's change the text over here to awards. Not plus, that's not a plus. This is also not a plus. Like that. You know what? Let's give them all the same length. So I would like to say 5 seconds for everything. This one, and this one. Okay, cool. Cool. I'm happy, man. This is a great result. Forgot to change the text over here. So I click over here, content. This is how we do it. This is how we work. Perfectenschlag. So what else can we do? Now I want to create an area that I want to show on every single page in my website. So we're going to create something. It's a call to action so people can reach out to us. And then I want to save it as a template and place it back on other pages in my website so we can work more efficient. As you know by now, I love that. So to work more efficient. So let me show you how you can create an area like that. Later, when you have blog posts in your website, you can have an overview of the latest blog post. Right now, I want to create the last area. I want to show you something new. We can work with templates. So I will create a new area. Click on the plus. Everything below each other. I want to give it the same background again. I know, you know, color 2, color 4, 270. I want to start with a title so I can copy this one if I want to, or this one. Let's see. There you go. I bring it to the center and I say, get in touch with, get in touch with us. Then I can have a divider. This is the only moment in Elementor I type divi. Then I can bring it to the center, go to the style, make it orange, increase the weight, make it 2. Then I go back to content. I change it from percentage to pixels and I say nothing, or wait, you know what? 500. No. 300. No, 200. Yes. Then I go for a text area. We're going to make use of ChatGPT again with all the information above. Create a converting text of 15 till 20 words about that people can reach out to us if they are interested in our services. ChatGPT will do everything for us, and you can also say make it simpler, make it longer, make it use more sophisticated words, whatever. Okay, I like this. Copy, paste it. Of course, I want the text to be white. I want it to be in the center. I also go to the container and change the gaps from 40 to 20. Maybe I should do that everywhere. And a button, I can go for this one. Drag it all the way down here below. And I bring it to the center. And then I go to the container and I say width should be 600. Like that. Okay, I publish it. Let's take a look. Great. Now I can say right mouse click over the container and then I can say save as a template. I can call this one CTA below page. So below at every page I want to add this call to action. Save it. Okay. Now I can go over here, click on add new page, or I can say Command E, add new page. Then I can click on the folder icon, my templates, insert, apply. There you go. Then you have that area. I don't want to do anything with this, so I will leave it. So I click over here, exit to the dashboard, leave the site. Now I go to the pages and I get rid of this draft, which I just created over here. Trash, go to the trash, empty the trash. I go to the home page, edit with Elementor. This is the page we've created. By the way, how does it look actually on a different device? I forgot to do that with those things over here. So let's do it now. I'm sorry. So sorry. I go to the title. Then I go to the number. $50. Copy. Paste the style. Paste the style. Paste the style. Also over here, go to layout, cap. Make it 10. For the mobile, no way. I go over here, advanced, change the custom width to 100, copy, paste the style, paste the style, paste the style. And this looks great. And on a other device, it also looks great on the tablet. So we have our homepage. And you've learned a lot about Elementor. So maybe you don't want to create the exact same website I have in mind, but by showing you how to create a page like this, we cover a lot of basic Elementor features that you can use to create the website you have in mind. So if you would go to another website, that's my goal for you. At the end of the day, you are able to create something that you see on another website. So you see something, you're like, hey, let's do that using Elementor.
Since we've created the homepage, I want to show you what else you can do with the Blocksy theme. I talked about the sticky header, transparent header, so let's dive right in.
Our homepage is finished. Later we can add blog posts and portfolio items. Right now it's perfect, in my opinion. What I want to do, I want to take a look at the header, how we can adjust it, make it sticky, make it transparent. So let me show you how to do that. I go to the customizer of the Blocksy theme, and then I can go to header, headers, the second tab, and then I click on the global header. And I can add the sticky functionality by clicking here. Right now it scrolls with us. It can be nice. So if you want to do that, you can do that. What you see is that this area, the top row, is not scrolling with us. If you want that, you can select this one. So they are both going with you, but they change colors. We can change those later at design. I prefer only the main row. So that sticks with us. And when we scroll down, I don't need to change anything of the colors. So that's okay. I click on publish. The second option, if we scroll down all the way, we can turn on the transparent functionality. That is really interesting in my opinion. So I turn this on. Now the background is transparent. The first thing I want to do after publishing is go to Elementor. Let me close this because I need to make the hero a bit higher. So I click on Edit with Elementor. And it becomes a bit harder to select the hero. You cannot select it here anymore. You see it's hidden. So what I can do, I can go to the structure, select the hero. Then I go to layout and let's say make it 548. So a little bit higher. Now I can go to advanced. So I made the height, I changed it with 100 pixels. So 50% of that, I want this to change. So I would say 90 minus 50 is 40. So this stays in the center. There's enough space for this area. So I click on publish. So to illustrate it to you, if I add 100 over here, 50 pixels of those 100 pixels should be subtracted over here at the bottom. That's how it works. In that way, you keep this vertically in the center. So I click on the eye. Great, I close this. I go to the home page and then I click on customize. So a few things we can do. I can go to the main row to design. And then for the transparent state, which is right now the case, I can make it completely transparent. I can make it black and make it in a way that you can see through it. So let's do that for now. But then the logo is looking weird. So I can have a different logo for the transparent state by clicking here on the logo. And now there's a transparent state logo. So I click on select logo, upload files, select files. Then I go to the desktop, to Ferdy.com resources. I go to web design, branding, web design 2025. And I go for the white logo SVG. This one. So Stereo has the orange touch to it. I select it. So now it looks like that. And also for the sticky state, I want to have the dark logo. So let me change it to the first logo I uploaded. So when I scroll down, look at this. This becomes the current logo. When I scroll up, it becomes the white logo. The same I have to do with the text because right now I don't see it. So I click over here, design, transparent state, white. And scroll down, I can keep it like this. So that looks great. What else I can do to make it more interesting? I close this. I go to Elementor. I can go to the hero, to the container, and add the background overlay. I can add an image. So I go to classic, image. I select this one, select. I can adjust it. So I go to the position. I can say center, center. I can go to display size, make it cover. Then I can go to attachment, make it fixed. So the image stays there. When I scroll, it looks like that. But man, this is too crowded. I don't like it. So what I can do, I can change the opacity. 1 is that you see the image. 0 is that you see the color. So I can bring it back like that. Or I can play around with the blend modes. Multiply, screen, overlay. So when I'm happy, I'm like, okay, I keep this. Not too distracting. And now what you can do, you can see through the header like that. Also here above. And when I scroll down, this sticks with us and it changes the color. So that's what you can do with the header. One more thing. We optimized our Elementor page builder page for all devices. Let's see how this looks on a other screen. Okay. This is okay. This is not okay. So I click over here. I go to design and in transparent state, I make it white, or how about, yeah, white. And then when I hover over it, orange. Okay. And for a mobile, okay. The only thing is that there's not much space over here. So I need to adjust that too. And when it comes to the menu, it looks like that. Well, totally not what I have in mind. So I click over here on mobile menu. The same as with, it's the same menu for the tablet. I select our main menu. I want to change the color. So I go to design. The font color should be this one. And the background color, let me see, where is it? Oh, of course, I need to go to the on of canvas area. There, I can change the background to white. Okay. Then I prefer to, let me see, go back, show as a side panel. I can also make it modal like that over the whole width. I prefer the side panel. I can change the viewport. So make it a bit smaller. How about 50%? Vertical alignment like that. That's what I like, or whatever you do, I prefer on top. I can bring it to the center. Make it like that. How about left? And then at the menu and the design, I can change the font. So I can change the font size to, or the boldness to 500. How about 600? I can make it uppercase. Make it a bit smaller. Okay, when I hover over it, nothing happens. So let me change it to orange. Better. And also these colors, I want them to be the same. So let's see. The arrow, I can change it to something else. I like this. I can have a border around the toggle. I'm okay. And what I prefer actually is to check this off. So everything is always visible. And then I don't want to have dots like that. Perfect. I can have other things over here. So I click on, or I go back and I can have a button like that. And then if I collapse it by clicking outside of the area, I can have a search icon here. Publish. So again, the tablet or the smartphone. Okay, that all looks fine except for the space. So what I will do, I will go to Elementor. Hero. Let's take a look at the tablet. Increase this to 450 and on a smartphone 620. And say 45 everywhere except where I want to change this. But 45 everywhere is also fine. So that's how you can do that for your header, and then your website looks like this. And when you scroll down, this appears. Keep in mind that this is for every page. So for every page, you should have a dark area to start with. I will show you how to do that. What I want to do, I want to bring it back, and then we'll continue with the tutorial.
There's so much more to cover with Elementor, and I don't want this tutorial to be too long. It can be that right now you're like, okay, we created a whole homepage. Now I know how Elementor works, and I want to create more content based on my own ideas. If you want to learn more how to do some more advanced designs, which is not necessary, but maybe you want to do that, then I will point you to a tutorial where you can learn how to do that. So let me show you right now where you can find that. So up until this point, we have created this over here with Elementor. This will be covered later in the tutorial. So what we're going to do, if you want to learn, you can learn how to create an about page, and this title page, this area will be a template. So if you go to the services page, you'll also see it here. We added a few things. So if you want to learn how to create something like this, how to use an external plugin for Elementor, a free plugin that will help you to create a theme like this, which also optimized. We're going to create something like this. At the service page, we're going to copy and paste a lot of things. So this is what you have seen before on the home page. But now we adjust it a little bit. I will show you how you can do that, and in that way work more efficiently. Then we create something like this. If you go to one of the specific pages, we copy the whole page, save it as a template, paste it over here, and then adjust the information. We're going to create a portfolio to showcase portfolio items. And then we're going to create a contact page so people can reach out to us, see some information, fill in this form. So if you want to learn how to do that, then go to ferdy.com, search for Elementor. Then you see this WordPress tutorial for beginners. Click on it. This is the tutorial you're watching right now. And then over here, if you scroll down and you click on read more, this tutorial will be completely focused on everything that you can do with Elementor. It will be completely focused on Elementor. So if you want to watch that, where you can learn all those things I just shown you, you can watch the tutorial by clicking here. Right now, I want to create a beautiful footer for our WordPress website using the Blocksy theme.
In order to configure our footer, we go to the customizer, the Blocksy customizer. And I scroll down over here. I see we only have this area. So I go to the footer. There are 3 areas. So it's actually the same as the header. And we can configure this. So we already have this area. So I want to work on the middle row. And what I can do, I can drag a widget in it. Widgets 1, 2, and 3. But I want to have more widgets over here, more rows. So I click on the middle row and I can change the amount of columns. So I say 4 and now I have another 1. I can also display them in a different way. But right now I'm okay with this. So I go back and there's the socials widget or element. I want to drag it in the 4th area and there something appears. So I can click on edit here. Then I can go to design. I can change the title font to white. I can change the background to dark. How about this one? Okay. Now I want to go to widget area 1. And if that doesn't work, sometimes this area somehow it's a little bit buggy. Now it works. I click on the plus and over here I can add elements or widgets or blocks. I add them over here and then I search for an image or I see it over here. I want to add my logo. I already uploaded it, so I go to the media library. I go for the light logo because we're using a dark background. I click on it, show more settings. And right now it looks okay, but if I would go to a different device by clicking here, it is really big. So I want to go to widget area 1. Let's go back to this one. More options, and I change the width to 200 pixels. So also on a tablet, it looks normal. I go back. Below, I want to have a text, so I go back, and then below this block, I can add another block by clicking on the plus, a paragraph. So I can grab this text, copy. I can go to ChatGPT, paste it, and say paste. Okay, so this text I wanted to make this text between 20 and 25 words and make it better. There you go. Awesome. I copy this text and I paste it here and it is dark. So I go to design or I go to the design of the middle row. So I don't have to do it individually everywhere. So the whole middle row has a few design settings. So if I go to design, I can say that the font title should be white. I could say that the font color should be white. And if there's a link, I can make it orange. And when I hover over the link, I can also make it orange. Well, I prefer the links to be white. When you hover over it, then they become orange. So that's the first area.
When you create a website, you need to make use of a few legal pages. For instance, a disclaimer. Let me show you how you can come up with those using ChatGPT.
Then, really important, I want to go for some legal pages here in the footer. That is mandatory. It's for every country different, so you should use ChatGPT or Google to ask, hey, which pages do I need if I have a web shop or a website in the Netherlands or in the United States or in India, wherever. So that's what you can ask over here. I go for the menus. We already have a main menu and I want to create a new menu, which I call privacy. I click on next, add items, and I want to add a few pages. The first one is the privacy policy. The second one is the cookie policy. The third one is the GDPR policy. That's because of Europe and cookies and stuff. And then for California, there's DCMA. And then you can use ChatGPT to say, I have a website in the Netherlands and I want to offer my services over the whole world. Write me a privacy policy page, please. There it goes. I need to insert the date, the name of my website, and then I can copy all this information and paste it into the privacy policy page. The same I can do with the cookie policy, etc. So I click on publish, then I go back. I create a new menu, legal, next, add items. This time I create a new page, terms and conditions. And another one, terms of use. So I have two menus. I click on publish. Now I go back, or I hover over here. I click on edit. I click on the plus, and then I search for a menu, navigation menu. The title is privacy. I want to select the menu, privacy. There it goes. Design. Font color should be white, and orange when I hover over it like that. I don't see the title. I don't know why, because I said that every title should be white. So we're going to take a look at that in a minute. I go to widget area 3, plus, again, a menu. This time I go for legal. I select the legal menu. Okay. Then I go to the socials area. I can add Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatever you have. I can search over here for YouTube, LinkedIn, and then I can publish it. And over here at the social network accounts, I need to fill in all the details. So if I would use Facebook, I would say hps facebook.com/Ferdy.com. Okay. And now when people click on it, they go to Ferdy.com. I go back to the socials by clicking here. Open them in a new tab. Yes. The icon size. Well, before I change it, I want to change this to vertical alignment, or let's see, vertical. Okay. I want to display the title, so I don't see only the icons, but also the text. So let me see the label visibility. Then I go to design. The font color should be white. Also for the icons, white. And when I hover over it, I want the text to change to orange. And I want the icons to stay white, like that. Okay. I can change the text over here, change the line height to perfect. Okay. A few things I want to fix. We're going to use some CSS for that. Let me close this. So it looks okay. There's a lot of space over here. So I do right mouse click, inspect, and I see the whole widget is block 9, ID block 9. So I double click ID block 9. It's an ID, keep it in mind. Customize, because when it's an ID, we need to use the hashtag in order to address it. So at the CSS, I say over here, hashtag, paste it, opening parentheses, closing. And in order to check if I have the right area, I always say background, hashtag 000, and I see I have the right area. I say enter, then I say margin dash top. And again, I'm not a CSS guru, but I know a little bit about it. So I enter with this text. If I say 20, there's more space. I say 10. I get rid of the background. So that is better. What happened to the title? Let me see. CSS, custom CSS will override the general CSS. So I have the title over here. I don't see it. Right mouse click, inspect. And somehow over here, it says it has this color. Why? I don't know. I copy this, close it. What I also can do, right mouse click, inspect, and then change this color to see if it's really working. Yes. Okay. So I go to the customizer again, scroll down, CSS, paste this, and then here at color, I can get rid of the font family stuff. The color, I want to change it to hashtag FFF. There you go. And also this area, there's a lot of space. So right mouse click, inspect. Class is widget menu. Copy that one. So over here, I say point because it's a class. You don't have to understand it, just follow along. Opening, closing, background, hashtag. Okay, we're addressing the right area. Margin top. Nothing happens. If I would say 20, it goes down. If I say 0, it's still too much. So I say -10, and then it comes closer. Get rid of the background. How about -6? Yes. Okay. That looks better. Publish if we want to. I can edit this area. Go to design. Go to the top row divider and select a solid color, a solid border or divider. Make it orange. Make it 2 pixels and then make it full width like that. So this looks great in my opinion. Awesome. If I click over here, I open it in a new tab and I go to my page. It's not available. I don't know what happened. If I go to my page, it's Ferdy Korpershoek. I don't know what happened, but it is what it is. So I need to fix that link and add the other links. So looks great. How does it look on a different device? Well, let's find out. Go to the tablet view. So it looks like this. What I will do, to the first area, widget area, bring it to the center. The second one, bring it to the center. The third one, bring it to the center. And the fourth one, bring it to the center. Over here, it's quite wide. This is block 9, remember? So if I go back, additional CSS, block 9, what we have to say over here is max width should be 300 pixels. Wow, it's working. Wow. Okay, better. Smartphone. Perfect and schlag. So we have a footer that's optimized for all devices. I'm really happy with it.
If you want to, you can create a portfolio on your website. Not everybody wants this. What I've done, I've created a separate tutorial for that, and I will show you where you can find that tutorial.
Let's go to ferdy.com, hit enter. I click on the search icon and I search for how to create a WordPress website. Hit enter. There you go. WordPress tutorial for beginners. It says 2024, but the new tutorial, which I'm making right now, will be placed over here. And then I scroll down and here you can learn how to create a portfolio. I have a tutorial for that. I will also create a new one. So this one is also the older version. So here you can learn in 23 minutes how to create a portfolio for your website. And it will look like this. Our work. I have a filter over here. I can have a category 1, category 2. So for instance, business photography, wedding photography, certain websites, web shops. And then you can click on it. Then you can showcase that project.
The same goes for the blog post. I have in-depth tutorials that will show you step by step how to create amazing blog posts. And not only that, how to add Google Analytics, Google Search Console, how to use an SEO tool that can optimize your website. I will show you again where you can find that tutorial.
We stay at ferdy.com. I scroll up and here I have a tutorial 2 hours long on how to create a blog post. But not only that, we're going to talk about using Google Analytics, using Google Search Console, using RankMath or Yoast SEO in order to optimize your website for the search results. And then we're going to talk about how to find subjects to write about and how to write about it. It's going to be awesome. And this is a great way to get more organic traffic to your website. So if you want to watch that tutorial, you can watch that over here. So how will it look on your website? You can go to the blog page. There's an overview of all the blog posts. If you click on one, you can display it on multiple ways. You can have it like this, or with a sidebar with widgets. There are 2 comments, so if I scroll down, this is how those comments are displayed. So if you want to learn that, follow the blog post tutorial.
Since we finished the website, I want to show you the power of global colors. We use global colors that are linked to the Blocksy theme. So if I change that color in the Blocksy theme, it will change everywhere in the website. And that will save us a lot of time, especially when you're like, hey, I want to change the color. Then you don't have to do it at every single point in the website. You can do it only once in the Blocksy theme, and then it will be changed everywhere in the website. Let me show you how.
When I go to the customizer and I go to colors, I can change the color palette by clicking here and choosing another one. Keep in mind, when you do that, you lose this one. So you can do it. Let's do it. Or not, let's not do it yet. First, I want to show you if I change this color to this one and this one to something else, that it changes everywhere in the website. So if I make this lighter, or I make it a different color, I don't like that. But you see that the look and feel in the whole website will be changed when you decide to go for another color. So you can play around with that, or you go to the color palettes, choose this one, choose another one, and then still you can change certain colors like that. That's the way the quick crumbles. And of course, not everything works, but then I can go to Elementor and change those colors. Oh, those colors look really alike. So that's how you can change the colors. And I really like it. For every page now, the colors are changed.
I want to thank you for watching this tutorial. If you made it until this point, I want to congratulate you. I hope you follow through. You've put everything to practice. Then you have an amazing website. Good luck with your business. Good luck with everything you do. God bless you. He loves you. And I wish you the best in everything you do. Ciao.